DC Gay Bar.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, March 15, 2015. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination, episode 704.
This is No Agenda.
Beware of the Ides of March. Hamelech, broadcasting live from Rotterdam, the Netherlands. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where Adam has missed a spot in the show. Well, anyway, I'm John C. Dvorak.
What the hell are you doing? All right. Oh, the end of the world. No, the end of the world is near now. This is clear. It's obvious. We're all going to die. This is it.
We should explain to the listeners, the real listeners, not the live listeners.
You mean not the phony stream listeners?
No, that's real too, but they're mostly here, the kids.
Yeah, we do a pre-stream. We get in the mood. I play some songs. DJ Powerboy.
And you're superstitious.
I'm superstitious. DJ Powerboy had a whole bunch of superhero tracks. It was a theme-based pre-stream. And then when John comes on, then we play Richard Wagner, The Ride of the Valkyries, in a rare sung operatic version. And at a certain point, being the opera lover that I am, the lyric is Cinco de Mayo. And I usually sing along with that lyric. And
you always say
nailed it. And I so missed it today, which isn't just bad mojo.
And you've always believed that if you miss it, then the show is going to not be up to par.
That's right. And
so then when we did the opening, I couldn't say anything.
That's right. I'm leaving all of that in. None of that.
Don't leave it in.
Of course I'm going to leave it. It's lovely. What are you talking about?
No.
Yes. Well, we'll argue about that later. Big news over here.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like those that put the flubs at the end of a show.
No,
let's put some flubs at the end of the show.
But except we didn't put it at the end of the show. It's the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
It's not a flub. It's not edited. It's the whole show. It's
flub. It's a total flub.
Okay, fine. Well, John, I don't know how it is there stateside, but here in
I understand all kinds of stuff's going on there in the old Holland.
What are you referring to, kind sir?
I don't know. Tell me.
Well, first of all, the newspapers were happy to report that my first wife and I had a very long conversation at her house.
So you guys, you told us on the last show that you went to dinner.
Yeah.
I believe. Did you?
Yeah, we did. We went to dinner. Yeah, I went to her house and then dinner near her house and then back to her house. Yeah, you had a big dinner.
And so right after dinner, she calls the newspaper.
I think what happened, the next day she was doing a store opening. That's a gig. Paris Hilton does that. And she opened the store and I think some reporters, because... And she sent me a text message. I don't know how do they get this information? Just a couple of people at the store opening who I talked to. Like, really?
So they have her quoted as saying you look tired and weary.
Yeah, I know. Which is exactly what she said to me from her. It's unbelievable. This is unbelievable. I live in a bubble of epic proportions when I'm here.
Pretty funny.
Oh man, it's just ridiculous. I don't know. But the real news here is being reported similarly. Everyone is waiting here with bated breath to see what will happen at the Kremlin.
President Putin is reportedly set to make his first public appearance in more than a week as Kremlin officials try to shut down the rumors that he is bad sick. They say on Monday he will meet with the president of Kyrgyzstan in St. Petersburg, Russia.
By the way, the Shep Smith guy, I've been observing him. I think he's probably really tiny. He's like Ryan Seacrest tiny. Not that it matters, but just to put him into perspective, this is kind of a new thing. It's like a tough guy, Southern gay so he makes kind of gay jokes, but they're a little more. Shep Smith.
Oh yeah,
from Fox. If you can hear there's like people on set, egging him on, which is okay because that's how you keep it going during these incredibly boring days in cable. But it's something new that he's doing. I find it somewhat entertaining.
President Putin last appeared in public last Thursday for a meeting with Italy's prime minister. Analysts say it's rare for him to go more than even a day without a public event. He's also postponed an upcoming trip, and yesterday he skipped an annual security meeting that he typically attends. So, as you might imagine, the rumor mill is going batty. Kremlin officials say images show President Putin at this week's private events. They say this shows him meeting today with the president of the Russian Supreme Court. They say another image shows him at a Women's Day event on Sunday, but a local newspaper reports the event actually happened lots of days earlier.
Oh.
Putin spent years building this reputation as some sort of macho man or something.
They show a picture of Putin riding topless.
His spokesman has said that the president is perfectly healthy and that his handshake is so strong that it would break your hand. That's what his spokesman said. For reals.
For reals. Okay, Shep.
Well, actually, I had a clip that was this clip. I have to say, Shep Smith does a good news report.
It's entertaining,
he covers all the bases.
Yeah. And then he says for reals, like all the kids do.
Well, yeah, he does the sides, which is probably lessens the impact.
Yeah.
But, no, that's big news here. They've been I mean, he's dead. He's sick.
Have you seen the white trucks? Everyone's talking about the white trucks now.
No.
Oh, the white trucks.
Seen the white trucks.
Yeah, some say there's troops in the white trucks.
Troops
in the white trucks. Others say it's a podium for they can build a big stage. Circus of the Stars. I don't know, but it's funny.
Well, the weirdest one was that he's got a mistress who's having a baby and he wants to be with her.
Yeah, we've heard that one, but that would be in Switzerland, I think. Something weird like that. That's where the mistress is. I don't know.
But this just so he's supposed to. I didn't know that he was supposed to show up today someplace.
Yeah. Well, and then there's I think I forget, maybe Voice of America had footage or pictures of an event that isn't supposed to take place until today that they had footage of yesterday. It's just it's nutty. As long as it involves Putin, the mainstream media has no problem with conspiracy theories. That's all. Just make sure the payoff is Putin. I think I found a valuable resource when it comes to what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah. George Friedman. Are you familiar with George Friedman?
No.
I looked him up. He is now he was speaking at some kind of douchebag event, whether it's like Atlantic Club or something like that. Budapest, Hungary, American political scientist. Oh, Stratfor, that's right. He is the CEO of Stratfor. That's the intelligence organization.
Oh, right,
Stratfor.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Now I know who he is.
Right. And so you have to take a lot of what he's saying with possible propagandistic tinges. You got to take it at face value.
Yeah.
But I really liked his explanation, and I pulled a couple of clips from this. And it starts off, let's see, first he starts off with the European Union, because, of course, it's all of this has to do with the whole Russian issue. And actually more your assertion, but I'm on board with it, is war in Europe. We were talking about this the other day, 2020?
Yeah, 2020.
So 2017 is the big, because I'm telling everybody here, obviously, with quite some authority. Like, yeah, after the war. Yeah, I'll come back then.
After the war.
2000, but also tell them, don't worry about it, because you'll still have TV, you'll still have entertainment shows.
Yeah.
It won't be like, bombers flying over. It'll be,
it'd be missiles flying over.
Yeah, exactly. Drones. It's completely different.
Drones. It'll be the drone war.
It's very different.
The drone war of 2020.
Coin it, the drone war of 2020. Exactly. So he affirms the war.
Europe will, I suspect, not return to the 31 years, but it will return to humanity. They will have their wars, they will have their peace, they will live their lives. It will not be 100 million dead, but the idea of the European exceptionalism, I think, is the one suffering the first death. There will be conflict. There was conflict in Yugoslavia, and there's certainly conflict now in Ukraine. As to the relationship to the United States, we no longer have a relationship with Europe. We have a relationship with Romania, we have a relationship with France. There is no Europe to have a relationship with.
Now, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Are you on the can, or what are you doing?
What?
Are you with the show? I'm sorry, I didn't know that you had walked away from the program.
No.
Oh.
I gotta try to get to the printer, but then you caught me on my way over.
That's okay. But these are shorter clips because I started the show. I don't try to bog it down.
Tell me when you're going to do a long clip so I can go over to the printer.
Okay, this is another short one. Hold on.
Okay.
This is the real enemy who we are really combating. Now, we're putting it all on Russia and Putin. But it would really be a combo enemy.
The primordial interest of the United States, over which for a century we have fought wars, the First, Second Cold War, has been the relationship between Germany and Russia, because united they are the only force that could threaten us, and to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't understand a word he said.
Really?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know. I couldn't understand him. He was mumbling.
Oh, he said you need to hear this.
He said. I know what he said. He said that the Germans and the Russians are the only two people we give a crap about because they're the only ones that can take us out.
If they're combined.
Oh, okay. I missed that. All right, got it.
That's the part that's the point he's making. If they're combined. Go ahead and get up and go to your printer, but keep the speakers on because I'm going to take you down to a new level here.
Down to a new level or up to a new level?
I think it's down. Whenever we're involved in someone else's country, I think it's down a level.
And by the way, the last time the Germans and the Russians said that they were getting their act together was that Hitler agreement where they were non-aggression pact.
Yeah.
And that didn't fly. The Germans and the Russians don't get along, no matter what this guy thinks. But anyway, go on.
Well, but actually.
I know, I get his point. It's a good point, but no.
Okay. Go to your printer. I'm going to play now our involvement in this whole spiel, specifically with the Ukrainian army.
10 days ago, General Hodges, Commander U.S. Army Europe, visited Ukraine. He announced that U.S. trainers would now officially be coming, not just unofficially coming. He actually pinned medals on Ukrainian fighters, which by protocol of the military is not the way. Foreigners don't get to pin on, medals. But he did, showing that this was his army. He then left and in the Baltics announced that the United States would be pre-positioning armor, artillery, and other equipment in the Baltics, Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria, which is a very interesting point. So the United States, and now yesterday the United States announced that it would be sending weapons. Tonight, of course, they denied it, but they are. Weapons will go. In all of this, the United States...
Hold on a second. I think we lost John. Let's see what happened. Oh, boy. We're trying to reconnect. There we go. You back? Hello? No, disconnected again. Wow. Yeah, I heard the whoosh too. That's the only reason I knew how he was gone. Let's just start that clip over. It's no problem. He probably went to go to the printer, then tripped over something. Hello? Hey, YO guy, believe me. Everything has its problems. Everything has a drawback. Skype is the best so far. It's actually been pretty good the past couple of months, I would say. We haven't had too many problems. There we go. It's the hex of the show. It's the hex.
Hello.
It's the Cinco de Mayo hex.
Yeah, I'm now believing it.
So I just start the clip over?
Yeah, please.
10 days ago, General Hodges, Commander U.S. Army Europe, visited Ukraine. He announced that U.S. trainers would now officially be coming, not just unofficially coming. He actually pinned medals on Ukrainian fighters, which by protocol of the military is not the way.
Isn't that brazen, John? Our guys come in and say, "Hey, we'll do the medal ceremony." Boy, really? Yeah, gone again. I'll make the same damn joke, okay? I can do it. Oh, Johnny boy, where are you? Yo? Hello? No. This is what happens. Skype upgrades the experience and you're fucked. I bet you. You watch. Fucking bet you. Bastards. Fuckwads. Maybe it's the news bite. The news bite actually is sending some weird. No, I'm not connecting to him. So it's more than that. It's a connectivity issue, which could easily be mine. Thanks, Void Zero. Yeah, damn it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, chat's working, stream's working. Replay the fat lady? That's maybe a good idea. I can redeem myself. Oh, it's connecting again. Are you there?
Yeah, hey, I'm going to change connections. Hang on.
Okay, all right. I'm getting reports of net outages all over the place. Like there was some huge bump. That would make sense. Ides of March, the 4 blood moons. We're fucked, people. You back?
4 blood moons.
Yeah, the 4 blood moons. I was thinking maybe I should just do the Cinco de Mayo and just get it over with, or will that not work? I'm afraid not.
Start from the very beginning?
No, screw it. I'll risk it.
Okay, start the clip again. I think we can hold on this time.
10 days ago, General Hodges, Commander U.S. Army Europe, visited Ukraine. He announced that U.S. trainers would now officially be coming, not just unofficially coming. He actually pinned medals on Ukrainian fighters, which by protocol of the military is not the way.
So what do you think about that?
That's interesting.
Pretty brazen, huh? Hey, we're in charge here. We're going to do the medals. Move over, General.
Foreigners don't get to pin on, medals, but he did, showing that this was his army. He then left, and in the Baltics announced that the United States would be pre-positioning armor, artillery, and other equipment in the Baltics, Poland, Romania, and Bulgaria, which is a very interesting point. So the United States, and now yesterday the United States announced that it would be sending weapons. Tonight, of course, they denied it, but they are. The weapons will go. In all of this, the United States has acted outside the context of NATO. Because NATO has to have a 100% vote. Any one country can veto anything. And the Turks will veto it just for giggles. The point is that the United States is prepared to create a cordon sanitaire around Russia.
There it is. This guy has a couple of these. The cordon sanitaire, which, as you could tell from my pronunciation, is a French phrase, literally translated means sanitary cordon. Originally denoted a barrier implemented to stop the spread of disease, such as the Black Death. The term has also been used in English in metaphorical sense to refer to attempts to prevent the spread of an ideology deemed unwanted or dangerous, such as the containment policy adopted by George F. Kennan against the Soviet Union. So we are pulling out, apparently, a form of an old script. And I think... You're still with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see that. I think he actually goes one step further in this, or that's the next clip.
Russia knows it. Russia believes that the United States intends to break the Russian Federation. I think that, as Peter Lorre put it, we don't want to kill you, we just want to hurt you a little bit. Either way, we are back at the old game. And if you go ask a Pole or a Hungarian or a Romanian, they live in a totally different universe from a German. And they live in a totally different universe from a Spaniard. So there is no commonality in Europe. But if I were a Ukrainian, I would do exactly what they're doing. Try to draw the Americans in.
So he takes this concept of the cordon sanitaire and brings in another old military concept.
But back off for a second. Does he have a rationale for this? He says he has an outline of what we're doing.
No. Well, I think maybe the intermarium explains what we're doing. That's this clip.
As the currency will not survive.
The question on the table for the Russians is, will they retain a buffer zone that's at least neutral? Or will the West penetrate so far in the Ukraine that they're 70 miles away from Stalingrad and 300 miles away from Moscow?
I think that is basically what we're doing. That's the idea.
What, to invade Russia?
Well, yeah, or not to kill them, but to hurt them. Listen up.
Russia, the status of Ukraine is an existential threat. And the Russians cannot let go. For the United States, in the event that Russia holds onto the Ukraine, where will it stop? Therefore, it's not an accident that General Hodges, who's been appointed to be blamed for all of this, is talking about prepositioning troops in Romania, Bulgaria, Poland, and the Baltics. This is the intermarium, from the Black Sea to the Baltic.
Yeah, that's a concept, the intermarium, that I think dates back to, oh, crikey, I don't know.
It's a concept, but not a rationale.
Okay, what other rationale then? Yeah, we want to completely block Russia off and make them weak. Isn't that known as the rationale? Why? Why? We can all. Oh, you got to have something to do.
That's no right. Yeah, well, now you're just being glib.
All right. To increase the military-industrial complex, to have more. I mean, we have to place all this stuff. The president went over to Europe. No, it's that simple, John. The president went to all these states. Hey, you're not up to your 2% of GDP on military spending. You got to up the ante. Come on, we're going to give you a reason. Here's the reason. We're coming in with our training. We're not giving weapons. We're selling weapons. So it's come on. That's what this is always about.
Well, we got plenty of markets for that.
But this is...
Why piss off the Russians? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I guess you could scare everyone with, the Russians are going to come and get you. The Russians are going to get you.
Well, look, I mean, Europe, this is exactly what people think. The Russians, they're not only going to get you, they already started. They already killed 300 people, shot down the plane. John, yes. Yes, that's what this is about. The question is, what will Germany do? That, I think, is what this comes down to, because this effectively cuts all the way down the middle between the Baltic and the Black Sea, which creates this huge buffer zone. And then if we move all the way, we are kind of Ukraine. Well, that's annoying when you do that, if you're Russia. But maybe it's to just cut off Germany.
That Pilsudski dreamt of. This is the solution for the United States. The issue to which we don't have the answer is, what will Germany do? So the real wild card in Europe...
By the way, the intermarium was a World War I tactic, which didn't work.
Didn't we have some thesis on this show that's been forgotten or overlooked or wasn't emphasized enough some time ago that had something to do with Germany? And remember, there was something going on.
We talked about how
trying to screw the Germans out of something or other.
Well,
they were causing trouble.
Yeah, the problem. Well, Germany, and actually, he talks about this in a second clip. But let me just finish this one. Maybe it'll help jog our memory. I think it was because of the euro, the recycling euro or something. We talked about how the Russians have to. It also keeps the euro up, which witness what's happening. I don't know, this may be a lot of different plans coming together with this.
Is that as the United States builds this cordon sanitaire, not in Ukraine, but to the west, and the Russians try to figure out how to leverage the Ukrainians out, we don't know the German position. Germany is in a very peculiar position. Its former Chancellor, Gerhard Schroeder, is on the board of Gazprom. They have a very complex relationship to the Russians. The Germans themselves don't know what to do. They must export. The Russians can't take up the export. On the other hand, if they lose the free trade zone, they need to build something different.
I didn't quite understand what he meant there. Who would lose what? The Russians would lose the free trade zone?
No, the Germans. They have to trade with Russia.
Right. Yeah, that would be a
problem. The Germans and the Russians really trade a lot.
Yeah, that's where all the money comes from. Exactly.
Yeah.
For the United States, the primordial fear is German technology and German capital, Russian natural resources,
there you go.
Russian manpower, as the only combination that has, for centuries, scared the hell out of the United States.
Okay. Now, that's it. That's it. We don't trust the Germans. Dumb krauts. We don't want your money and your technology being connected to Russia's resources. And bare-chested leader?
Well, I think it's a bit much to say for centuries. This is the only thing that has frightened the United States. for centuries is not the case. For centuries,
Well, that's not that. You're
we
right.
were scared by the most was obviously the British that were always trying to get their place back.
I agree. You just don't like this guy.
Well, I think he's a bit loose with his analysis.
Well, let's listen then to the final clip I have on him, which I think fits in exactly what we've always been saying, if you look at the Middle East, is to rubbleize the place. That's our thesis. It's a broad one.
It's very simple.
We have several other themes that go along with that, but in general, it's just to rubbleize the place.
Yeah, all you do is look at the photos and you can see that we're very successful.
Yeah. You just cut out for a second, so I don't know if you want to...
Oh, yeah, it's Comcast.
All right.
The United States has a fundamental interest. It controls all the oceans of the world. No power has ever done that. Because of that, we get to invade people, and they don't get to invade us.
Do we rock or what?
Very nice thing.
A very nice thing, yes.
Maintaining control of the sea and control of space is the foundation of our power. The best way to defeat an enemy fleet is to not let it be built. The way the British managed to make certain that no European power could build a fleet was to make sure the Europeans are at each other's throats. The policy that I would recommend is the one that Ronald Reagan adopted toward Iran and Iraq. He funded both sides so they would fight each other and not fight us. This was cynical. It was certainly not moral. It worked. And this is the point. The United States cannot occupy Eurasia. The moment the first boot sets the ground, the demographic differential is we are totally outnumbered. We can defeat an army. We cannot occupy Iraq. The idea that 130,000 men would occupy a country of 25 million, well, the ratio in New York of cops to citizens was greater than we had deployed in Iraq. So we don't have the ability to go across, but we do have the ability to, first, support various contending powers so they concentrate in themselves with political support, some economic support, military support, advisors, and in extremis, do what we did in Japan, in Vietnam, in Iraq, and in Afghanistan. Spoiling attacks.
That sounds kind of like our plan. Just throwing some ISIS in there, some Al-Qaeda, whatever fraction we want to call it. Let them all beat each other over the head.
Well, his premise here bothers me now.
Okay.
He starts off with the premise that Reagan funded both Iran, which I find very sketchy because Reagan came in right after the Iranians were taken over by the mullahs, and it was a very cold era between the United States and Iran. So I don't know how we were funding them, but he says we were. So let's just go with that anyway.
All right.
And we were funding the two of them so they'd fight each other, so they wouldn't fight us. Were they coming over here to fight us? His other premise is that we own the oceans, and so no one can ever attack us. So how does this rationale even work in a million years? This guy is one of those characters who throws stuff together. It sounds kind of right. Oh, yeah, and a lot of it's bullshit. And he throws it all together, and it sounds like some sort of thesis when there's no thesis here. And then he throws in some World War I crap, this cordon sanitaire.
I like that. I like the old plans. I like that. That. It makes sense to me. I'm not saying he has the answers to
This guy's totally full of shit.
Oh man,
that's my conclusion. Listening to these clips.
No, then I can't even finish. I can't listen to him anymore. It's no good.
You can listen to him.
No,
I mean, he does have something good to say, but he's covered it up with a bunch of just nonsense.
Okay, I accept. Yeah, I feel bad, but all right.
I don't know why you should feel bad. I mean, it's interesting a guy's out there pushing this agenda. I mean, what is his rationale? Why is he doing this?
Well, that's always the question.
You know, I wonder what he's selling. I mean,
but do you not think it sounds feasible that we're putting together this intermarium?
The less I believe anything he says. I mean, this Iraq-Iran thing was enough that was it. They were going to come over here and fight us. And again, I'll reiterate, in 1979, when the Iranians had a revolution and put these mullahs in, from 1980, when Reagan got in, to 1988, when Reagan got out, there was no way we were giving them anything.
Well, to me, it sounds like he is telling the story as to...
There wasn't a moment where there was guns for, drugs and this sort of thing that went on, but it wasn't anything that would amount to a hill of beans in the scheme of things. If you're really going to arm some country to the teeth and let them fight each other, and then we got screwed on that deal. Talk about costing us a lot of money. I mean, we really got screwed. The American public got screwed monetarily by rebelizing the Middle East. And what we got out of it, well, maybe we got some good oil contracts. Maybe there was some other action that was going on. I don't see the net coming out favorably on our side.
Well, then it goes back to it goes back to my original analysis. These people, they feel like they got to do something. Nothing better to do, maybe.
Well,
yeah. Well, here's former Army General Robert Scales.
Take up knitting.
In testimony. He tells us exactly how we can get everything going.
Ukraine, 3,000 U.S. troops deploying to Eastern Europe. Some armor will be going with them, apparently. To what effect, and what do you expect?
I think to no effect, Lou. It's game, set, and match in the Ukraine. The only way the United States can have any effect in this region and turn the tide is to start killing Russians, killing Russians by killing so many Russians that even Putin's media can't hide the fact that Russians are returning to the motherland in body bags. But given the amount of...
I think that is the plan. That's what we're doing.
Bomb them. We need to kill and bomb them. Bomb them. We need to kill and bomb them. Bomb them. We need to bomb them. We need to kill them and bomb them again.
Yes. And we're good at it.
Well, I'm going to bring this back to a simple answer to the whole thing.
Okay.
Because all this began, and if you look at the Ukraine situation and everything else, it all began after a certain moment in history. And that was when the Russians took in Snowden.
I guess that is the moment. It does correspond just like CO2 to global warming.
Snowden was given safe haven in Russia, and ever since then, this has been continuing. Yeah. And then before that, I don't notice that anything was. I mean, there was a lot of action in the Middle East, and there was the Syrian thing had begun, but none of this other stuff. And so I'm going to just stick with the old thesis. If Russia gives up Snowden, all is well.
That's all. Well, then I think we need to have a petition on whitehouse.gov about this, because then we can just end this malarkey. The letter that you correctly identified as being a big deal that the 47 Republicans signed.
Yeah, by the way, I made a mistake on that. It wasn't a series of congressmen. It was all senators.
All senators, yes.
So they were complete idiots, but yeah,
well,
the letter.
It's obviously gotten some. There's something going on that is interesting to watch, particularly as it regards the letter. My favorite propaganda organization, Vice, has announced that they will be releasing an interview with President Obama today. Very, very slick campaign. I think that this is one of the better pieces of work. They have their promos are being played on the cable news shows. Those really being hyped up. And I have the trailer right now, and just listen to what the president is saying in this interview. And this is all beauty shots. It's really high energy, high cut, big, pompous president coming off Air Force One. You know the drill, right? Like really Team Obama here. He's badass. No drama, Obama. Coming your way. Woo! Hello, Atlanta. Kick it out.
Are you a masochist? We're not acting in a sane and rational way.
That's disturbing. Let's take something like climate change.
Let's. It seems that from the outside...
From the inside, too. I'm embarrassed for them to address a letter to the Ayatollah, who they claim is our mortal enemy. And their basic argument to them is, don't deal with our president, because you can't trust him to follow through on an agreement. It's close to unprecedented. This is the last question.
Our number one question from everyone on the internet. For young people, I'm sorry, but if you legalized marijuana, it would be the biggest part of your legacy. So what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, what a cliffhanger. So this is, and it's that same guy, you know, the founder of Vice.
Yeah.
He has a suit on. Funny. Yeah, now you look all nice, all cleaned up. So here's Jen Psaki piling on top of this PR effort, because it's very obvious what it is now. And she, and actually during Andrea Mitchell's show on CNN, who plays that bit about the letter. Hello?
I'm embarrassed for them.
Let me interrupt for a quick second. There was a long exposition on Frontline, which is one of the more accurate presenters of news information, about how Obama reneged on a deal he did with Boehner during one of the
drinking sessions
about 4 years ago when they were doing the budget or something, and they put everyone on board. And Obama came up with and agreed on a specific thing. This is what created this chilliness between Boehner and Obama, because Obama lied to Boehner.
Okay.
He said he was going to do one thing and did another. It was very well documented. And I think this probably goes on with, I think this is Obama's style. He does this sort of thing.
But we don't know what it is, or it's just irrelevant?
It's irrelevant to what I'm going to say, which is that if Obama is doing anything like this where you can't trust him, this is a payback, the letter. So you can't trust this guy. Which is because when Boehner was screwed by Obama, it was not only and there is, like I said, there was an entire hour presentation on this by Frontline. There was nothing Boehner could really do about it to screw him back, except just be angry, and then all the publicity turned against Boehner as a weirdo. With that
this
man tan
and stuff and all that,
and all the rest.
Right. Gay overtones on him.
There's never been a quid pro quo on this, and this possibly is part of it. The Senate, the 47 senators saying is, for all practical purposes, saying, "Ha, hey, we'll give them the screw job." Don't worry.
I've got information, man. New shit has come to light.
I'll give this to you then. So cotton. Well, let me do it in order. That might be a little bit easier. But I have new information, new shit has come to light. First, let's listen to Psaki piling on. Just you can see really what the idea here is, to really make the Republican Party look like morons. And as I said, Andrea Mitchell even replays a part of this Vice promo, which is clear this is now a setup. This is a coordinated effort.
I'm embarrassed for them to address a letter to the Ayatollah, who they claim is our mortal enemy. And their basic argument to them is, don't deal with our president because you can't trust him.
That really makes sense with what you just said. Him saying exactly that. Don't deal with our president because you can't trust him, which is exactly the opinion of Boehner, as you retell it, right?
Yeah.
Follow through on an agreement. It's close to unprecedented.
State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki joins me now from State Department.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Jen. I hate that.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Andrea. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, Adam.
Hey, I'm here to be adversarial. Okay, just play along. Hello. Isn't that annoying?
I got better than that on a clip here.
You want to do it now?
If you want to do an aside, I want to get back to the point. Why don't we go finish up the point here, and then I'll throw some of these in.
Okay.
It's close to unprecedented.
Better segue than it is of.
Yeah. Hi, Jen. Hi, Andrea. Hey, be coming over and have some dinner at the Greenspans.
State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki joins me now from State Department. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Let's talk about that.
We should just do hi, John.
Hi, Adam.
Hi. Hey, John.
Letter and what these Republican senators did. You've heard what the president said. You were with Secretary Kerry when he lambasted them in his Hill testimony. How does that?
Is it lambasted? I've never heard him saying lambasted.
No, I think lambasting.
Is lambasted? Is that okay?
You got
you're basting your
lambasted.
Yeah.
And lambasting.
So what is lambasting? What is lambasting?
I've heard it both ways, so it's.
influence what Iran does at the negotiating table starting Sunday?
Well, the negotiations remain between the negotiators. So do we think that...
Wow, this is a very astute comment. The negotiations remain between the negotiators.
Let me write that one down.
But I like what she does. Jen is good, man. She is good. So she's going to take this question. She's going to say something completely nonsensical, which is obviously logical. And then she's going to ask her own question and answer that. This is a very, very well trained PR person. Listen how she does this.
Well, I want to remind people that we do have this thesis on the show that the best obfuscators say things like, you ask me a question. I say, well, the question you should be asking is.
She does it even better than that. Even better.
And you never address the question.
She is so brazen this way. She's good. She's good. I think, motherhood will do her well. Something's bubbling up and she's just nailing it.
Testimony. Mm-hmm. How does that influence what Iran does at the negotiating table starting Sunday?
Well, the negotiations remain between the negotiators. So do we think this is going to have a direct impact on the room? No.
Wow. Is that good or what? That's fantastic. Just so slick.
Well, it was completely, it brushed the question off beautifully.
Yeah. First, she throws a little thing out there, then no.
But the fact is...
What?
Yeah, you do a cordon sanitaire at the beginning of your clause.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut her off and then say what you want to say.
No, but the fact is, as the president said, this is nearly unprecedented. It's bringing into question what has been precedent.
Notice they're also saying nearly unprecedented, which means there's something out there we still have to find. Because these guys are smart.
That's a great catch. Yeah, nearly unprecedented.
Nearly unprecedented. So
it was unprecedented.
And I think it means that a bunch of Democrats did this at some point in history.
Or something really unprecedented.
Something that is not exactly in their best interest.
It's funny the way they throw it out there. They throw it out there and says, no one's ever done anything like this. And then they use nearly unprecedented.
And so did the president in that piece. He says it's nearly unprecedented. But I think he almost swallows it.
Nobody knows about what it was that happened before by whoever.
Yes.
Well, and originally they were going to say, well, this is unprecedented. They did this. And so, no, don't say that because then you're going to get busted.
Yeah, but here's your chance, chat room. Find that before the end of the show.
That's
bringing into question what has been precedent for hundreds of years, back to when members of Congress were riding horse and buggy.
Wait, did Nixon do something like this with the North Vietnamese?
Nixon was president. What they're talking about, I believe, hold on, they're talking about the Senate or the House or the Congress doing something outside, doing an end run on the president in a very bold and brazen way. That's which has got to have happened a number of times.
Hold on a second. I have something here. Inevitable comparison with the 1968 conspiracy by Richard Nixon through right-wing campaign official Anna Chennault to encourage the Vietnamese government of President Nguyen Van Thieu to boycott peace talks in Paris. That's probably what the nearly unprecedented refers to. I'm not familiar with that.
Maybe.
I'm not familiar with what happened there.
But again, Nixon was the president. Or unless it was before he ran for president.
1968.
I believe it was president. 68.
Campaign official. Huh.
Well, this way you could also use this when Reagan ran for president in 1980. In 79, they were trying to get the hostages released from the consulate, and there was an encouragement by someone behind the scenes to keep him there so Carter couldn't win.
That was, exactly. Well, let's just listen to the rest of Jen's little spiel.
Buggies to do their job. So it really does bring into question.
Wait, you got to hear this because that's actually. Oh, did I skip ahead? What did I do here? I'm sorry. Did I sound? Maybe it was over. I guess. Yeah, I guess it was over. Here. Okay. This is the reason why I think Cotton is the leader of this letter of this group, and he's getting attention for it too, which immediately has me interested. Why are people like Howard Dean commenting on this guy if they, it's all the 47 Republicans, but he's the only guy that is actually being touted. And you and I did a little bit of research post-show on Thursday on the guy, which you might want to talk about. Here's Howard Dean on the Cotton letter.
I'm very surprised at this. First of all, I was very surprised McCain signed the letter in the first place. I mean, he gets what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. He was a prisoner of war in Hanoi for a very long time, and I don't think he probably liked it very much when Jane Fonda went over there and had a few things to say. And I think this is somewhat similar. I think Cotton doesn't get it. Cotton is a veteran. He had a decorated career in the Army. He's a Rhodes Scholar. Of all people, he should know that you don't do this. I mean, if you serve in the Army with a commander-in-chief, you don't do this. You can disagree. I don't disagree with what he said. He has a right to say that. To give comfort to the enemy, which is the hard line in Iran, I think was shocking. Just shocking. And I'm very surprised McCain signed the letter, and I think he's having second thoughts.
I'm just shocked. I'm shocked, I tell you. Just so shocking. So Cotton, turns out, is number one protege of Bill Kristol.
Interesting.
Yes, and Bill Kristol, Bill Kristol is one of the premier neocons, Project for a New American Century, and now, of course, still mixed up with the Kagans, and now the neoliberals.
His dad was one of the leaders of the whole movement.
And
all a bunch of
and he's been tweeting,
communists turned neocons.
And he's been tweeting that he feels Cotton would be the perfect vice presidential candidate.
Oh, good. Oh, that's a great catch.
So that is why I would think Psaki is trying to discredit him as well.
I'm embarrassed for them.
Shoot, come on. I'll get past all that. I'm sorry. Here it is.
Republican senators did. You've heard what the president said. You were with Secretary Kerry when he lambasted them in his Hill testimony. Mm-hmm. How does that influence what Iran does at the negotiating table starting Sunday?
Well, the negotiations remain between the negotiators. So do we think this is going to have a direct impact on the room? No. But the fact is, as the president said, this is nearly unprecedented. It's bringing into question what has been precedent for hundreds of years, back to when members of Congress were riding horse and buggies to do their jobs. So it really does bring into question whether they want to see it.
I'm sorry. This was the horse and buggy thing, which I thought was just her slamming the Republicans, but for some reason I don't have
her. Oh, actually, very good catch.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't.
That's what she was doing.
Yeah, but I don't have her talking about Cotton. I'm sorry. I don't have that one.
Okay. I like the horse and buggy.
The horse and buggy is nice. It's cute. So we've got all that going on.
Yeah, it's cute.
And, and it seems like, then, of course, if you want to look at Cotton, his number one donor.
Yes.
Well, AIPAC, of course.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is the Jewish lobby, Israeli lobby, I should say, that is funding him. And it's obvious. It's not even being hidden. So he is the boy for vice president. And I think he'll be good for that. Because he's being blackmailed. Because the guy had to have a shotgun wedding. He's obviously gay, like Tim Cook gay. Just look at him.
Well, this is the problem, and it is.
I'll say it. I'll just say it. The guy's being blackmailed.
Well, we did a little research on this guy, and he's obviously gay. Yeah. And there's a lot of assertions that he only got married to some woman that they've never found a picture of him and her before
beard
the marriage. They just. You're right. It's a political shotgun wedding. Here, marry this woman. You're going to look gay.
I just have to explain. Tim Cook gay is there's pictures of him with the hiked up jeans. He's dressed like Tim Cook.
Yeah,
it's all in, and obviously you can tell if someone's gay by what they wear. I mean, this is a known.
Well, if you look around enough, you find what they actually like to wear.
If you're old enough,
that's all beside the point whether he's gay or not. But because I think it's important to the Democrats that he's gay.
Yes.
And the idea is, and I'm going to be, and I don't care if he's gay, but
me neither.
If he's going to cover up being gay, let's assume. And we're going to make these assumptions for this analysis.
For this analysis only.
This is what the Democrats want. The Democrats may well be behind by bringing his name to the fore.
Uh-huh.
They have made him the candidate, Bill Kristol, who's an idiot.
Well, Crystal switches sides. Yeah, of course. He's
because it's we get another neocon in. We can do some more of these wars, and these chicken hawks is what you might want to call them, and not in the gay sense, but in the sense of being warmongers. Which is funny that the term crosses over.
Right. Uh-huh.
And you get the guy in, then somehow, as the campaign progresses, it's revealed he's gay, and all the Republicans. And I'm going to make this generality.
Put it in the book.
Going to roll their eyes, but Republicans are more inclined to vote based on whether somebody's gay or not, and they won't. And not all of them by any means, but enough of them to screw up the vote and get and ruin the campaigning.
A gay Trojan horse.
A gay Trojan horse. Exactly. Or a gay Trojan.
Go, yeah. All right, that's already implied in the whole title. You don't really need to put that.
No, I think that's fine. And this Cotton guy will play the part.
Hold on a second. Breaking news. I just received from who else?
Breaking Trojan news.
We have breaking Trojan news. This is from who else but Brian the Gay Crusader.
Okay.
Anonymous. We spotted very anti-gay Republican, Representative Tom Cotton, Republican, at D.C. gay bar, and they have photo evidence. And so it begins.
This doesn't surprise me.
Well, you nailed it. There it is. Apparently, he appeared on Grindr.
Oh yeah, now let's run this guy for vice president. And the Democrats. This is Bill Kristol and these guys again. They're idiots. The Democrats are playing them like the fools that they are.
Like a Stradivarius.
Let's run this guy for vice president. This will get. Hopefully, it'll get nipped in the bud.
This is so beautiful. It's like literally playing a Stradivarius. The music is so sweet to my ears. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm sorry. An NRA endorsement of Cotton appeared on Grindr. What the hell does that mean? Pfft. Okay. Well, at any rate, we have photographic evidence of seeing him here in the D.C. gay bar, looking rather quizzical. What am I doing here?
Why am I here? This is strange.
What happened?
Can you guys tell me where the girls are? I'm really interested. Finding out where the girls are. I don't see any. Why is that?
That's weird.
That's very strange. What do I make of this? Can you explain to me what do I make of this?
I was picking up a friend. No. What will the excuse be? He's got to come up with something for this.
Picking up a friend.
What do you say in that case?
It was an accident. I didn't know.
I know.
It wasn't me. That's a guy.
No. It's just a case of misunderstanding. It happens all the time, and I can prove it. So you take your hose and you roll that sucker as far in as you can get it, and then some dude behind you is blasting you with his hose.
A couple of guys.
Oh, it gets better.
A couple of guys. Yeah, so you're getting blasted, so you can stay cool.
Suck it.
It's really hot.
Fuck yeah.
See, it's just mistaken identity. It can happen to anybody.
Well, anyway, this guy's been set up. And, he probably shouldn't have even gotten elected there.
No.
This wedding thing is the one that, there's some nasty stuff on the web about this character.
Yeah. But there is this whole concerted effort. Now, I think I made a mistake. I might have misunderstood Fariba. She said that the Nowruz was on the 31st. I believe she might have said the 21st, and in Dutch with an Iranian accent, I might have misunderstood it. But so I looked it up, and Nowruz is on the 21st of March, not the 31st.
And what's going to happen again?
That's the Iranian New Year, 1393.
Yeah, the 21st. Okay,
21st,
coming up.
Yeah, but the Obamas were already celebrating Nowruz at this very important time in the negotiation. If they were doing that at the White House.
Hello, everyone. Nowruzatan Mubarak.
Yeah, Nowruzatan Mubarak. Yeah.
What was that? She said something in Iranian?
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year?
Yeah.
But isn't it the 21st?
Yes. This is last week.
When was this? Like the 14th?
Last week?
13th?
Yeah. So I don't know why she does it early, other than positioning, sending a message to Iran.
Television. television coverage, maybe?
There was not a lot of television coverage that I saw. Well, of course, I'm in Europe, so CNN is about it.
I didn't see anything here.
Yeah. And then we had at the same time, the president came out with a notice on the 15th of March for the continuation of the national emergency with respect to Iran, which stems from Executive Order 12957 of March 15th, 1995, which has just been renewed ever since. What is that now? 20 years? 95, 2005, yeah.
Yeah, 20 years.
20 years. Executive order. So, who knows?
Let's stop the analysis and go back to the thesis that we can, and which will help end this conversation.
Okay.
We want them to have a bomb.
Yes. Right.
Now, that's something, if the Stratford guy said that, I'd say, okay, well, at least he's on that one. But we want them to have a bomb because that will set off a bunch of sales for arms and defense mechanisms and anti-missile systems and all the rest of it, which are very expensive, by the way. Anti-missile systems are probably the most, it seems to me, looking at the prices.
Were you out shopping recently?
Shopping around. It looks to me, you can buy a howitzer pretty cheap, but an anti-missile system, you're
talking some dough.
Billions to get the place outfitted because you got to put them all over the place. The anti-missile system is what I would call the modern version of the Maginot Line, which would seem like a good idea at the time.
The Maginot Line?
Yeah, the one that the French put up to stop the Germans from ever invading again.
Where was that? Where was that? Where was the Maginot Line?
It was over in the Maginot area.
Hey, thanks.
Order something. You look it up. Go Google it. You'll find the Maginot Line. And so they figured the Germans, and the German says, "Look at what is this huge? It's like a giant fort, kind of massive cement thing, and it goes on forever." I said, "What do we have to do? We have to walk around it." Oh, okay. Well, let's just do that.
This actually this is something that I had for the last show. About the Durand Line. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Well, this hour we are following breaking news out of Pakistan. At least 14 people have been killed after 2 suicide blasts in a Christian community in Lahore. The blasts happened at 2 different churches, one during Sunday Mass. I'm joined now by journalist Michelle Stockman in Islamabad. Michelle, what more can you tell us exactly about what happened? We're seeing some video, shattered glass on our screens at the moment, just utter devastation. What do you know?
That's right, Isa. This is just another devastating attack on the Christian community here in Pakistan. We understand from the Deputy Inspector of Police in Lahore that the blasts were caused by suicide bombers.
Okay, so this is terrorism, and this is in an area that I've always had my questions about, Waziristan, and this is now, it's actually at the exact same height as Waziristan, just on the other side of this kind of gray area. And when you in the Netherlands, I've taken a couple of Ubers. Most of these guys are from the Middle East who are driving the licensed Ubers, so they have official taxi papers. And so I've talked to guys who've been from Iran, from Iraq, from Afghanistan. I had this one guy who was driving me, and he told me what is going on, and it's about this thing called the Durand Line. And this is 100 years ago, very much like we agreed, or there was the agreement that after 100 years, Hong Kong would be returned to China. This is about this land between Afghanistan and Pakistan. And what's happening is the Pakistanis are not giving it back. And so that's why the Afghans are all there trying to, terrorism, blowing shit up. And that's why we've been droning these guys, because we have a pipeline that has to be protected going through that area, and we need full control. And I guess we're more aligned with Pakistan than with Afghanistan. So that finally answered a question for me. The Durand Line. Indian
well,
givers.
The Maginot Line was actually armaments and
right. But this was just a line of.
Whatever the case,
I want to get it out there.
Yeah, the point is that these missile defense systems, you shoot the missiles, different kind of missile, you go around them, you bring in a guy with a bomb, carrying a bomb. Mm-hmm. There's other ways, to deal with missiles, but these are very expensive systems.
So that's good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's good.
Great.
It's sad to say. I wanted to say, if you
and we also, I think we have at least the smart money. Mm-hmm. I would hope has come to the conclusion that there's no time anytime soon that Iran is going to build, let's say, 100 missiles and send them our way. It's just not going to happen. They're just not going to do that.
No.
And if they did, of course, we would send 10,000 missiles and flatten the entire country, which we would do. So that's not going to happen. But Israel is, of course, always being threatened. But Israel, now you start to see numbers. I've noticed numbers coming out of when you see reports about who has nukes. And Israel supposedly has 80 of them.
Yeah.
And they have the wherewithal and the gear, because they get it from us, to send those 80 nukes any place they want to. And they could hit any spot in the Middle East. So they could flatten most of the places themselves and probably blow up that big stone in Mecca.
That'll show them.
That would, I think, would be very.
That would be pretty hardcore, man, to blow up the big stone. Is it known as the big stone?
No, they call it something else. I can't remember the name of it, but it's where you have to go. Once in your life, you have to go walk around the thing, and it's Mecca.
But I want to see what Mecca. Hold on a second. Let's do that.
The big block. It's very huge. It's a huge
Kaaba.
block.
The Kaaba.
Yeah, the Kaaba.
The Kaaba. There you go. The cube. It means the cube.
Yeah, it's a giant cube,
yeah.
And they wander around it.
You know what? You know what happens when the cube opens up? Fish.
At least I got it. I don't think anybody in the audience got that joke.
I think there are people who got it.
Whatever the case, they would the Israelis, if these guys are going to be an all-out attack by the Muslims, they will just blow up Mecca. Right. And I think that would be blood on the moon. That would change the world's events forever.
Speaking of which, now I know where it comes from. Blood on the moon. Well, that's what my mom used to say. Adam Clark Curry, if you don't stop that right this minute, there'll be blood on the moon.
And it means that there's
we have the blood moon. We have the 4 blood moon today. Oh no, I think it's in this week.
Okay.
The 4 blood moon is bad mojo, man.
Well, it was for the show.
Seriously, this is the previous, what I've read. The previous 4 blood moons were. It's all. By the way, this thing that I had, it's all Jew related.
It's all superstitious.
It's all superstitious, of course. But it's like, the Holocaust. Here it is. There's also a movie coming out, Blood Moon's film. Not coincidental, of course. Here we go.
There's a movie coming out.
Okay. Oh, yeah, of course. So here's the Blood Moon prophecy, a theory studied and taught by some Christian ministers, such as John Hagee, I guess that's the guy behind this, and Mark Biltz, which states that an ongoing tetrad, this is very funny, happens when these take place. And here's the, what's the list here of the blood moons? Started the Second World War, killing the Jews. And apparently this will be the Middle East will melt down during this blood moon. April 5th.
The killing the Jews thing during
April 4th is when it starts. April 4th.
Time period. I don't see that you can put a date on it. It was a pretty long process. But okay, for the purposes of the argument, I'll buy it. Blood moon.
No, it's the 4 blood moon. Not
4 blood moon.
4 blood moon. It has to be 4 blood moon.
Should be named for a rock band.
Good enough. Oh, man.
All right.
Well.
So that's that. It's all Snowden.
Well, with that, John C. Dvorak, I would like to thank you for your courage and indeed say, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Adam Curry. In the morning to all the people out there, the boots on the ground, the feet in the air, the subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
And ships at sea.
And the ships at sea.
Yeah, in the morning, everybody there in the chat room.
Do you have any ships at sea left?
Yeah, there's some ships. But, well, apparently we rule all the oceans. We must have plenty of ships at sea.
I hope they listen to the show.
In the morning to everybody in the chat room. NoAgendaStream.com. In the morning to Nick the Rat and all the other artists who are always diligently adding artwork to make the album art look spectacular for the best podcast in the universe. Nick, Thank you for episode 703. And I'm trying to recall, what was the art that Nick did?
It was great.
Yeah, what was the episode Logistics? I remember that. Oh, it was the douchebag calling on the Apple Watch.
Yeah. But did you notice the second little thing is they've had the fog thing, calling from, whatever it was? Did you look at that closely? I didn't catch it the first time.
Well, it says douchebag, and what does it say? Hold on, let me pull it up.
Calling from smog or something, remember? Because it was a reference to the electronic smogging that you're all going to get.
Oh. I'm going to get the gold one because I'm that douchebag.
Okay.
What?
What? I receive stuff.
Who sent you that?
I don't know. But I will not implicate anybody.
Okay, here, let me go look at this thing. Okay, it said, douchebag incoming smog.
Oh, I don't know. I don't understand the reference.
That's because the guy there was the clip about this, the electronic smog around us of all these.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was a very clever little gag, a sub gag, which is Nick. One of the reasons.
Yeah, Nick does it. Yeah, that's right.
Nick and both Martin Jay-Z, those are the two guys that are competing with each other for attention. And they always slip. This is a little tip for the artist. They always slip in a little, just kind of a side gag or two, sometimes three, that just were sub references that kind of fit in, and you just notice them if you're paying attention. Which I was.
Very, very slick.
Very subtle. All right, let's thank a few people that helped us with show 704. Kevin Broso in Milltown, New Jersey. Milltown. 628.30. This is a double. Here's my double Pi Day donation to celebrate 3/14/15, the first and last Pi Day of the 21st century. This donation will also complete my knighthood, and such I would like to be known henceforth as Sir K-Town, Lord of the Late Night Lab. See accounting below. Last week, I requested some car buying karma, and boy, did it pay off big time.
I love it when that works.
It seemed only right to share my success at the dealership with the best podcast in the universe. You guys proved an outstanding product that can be found nowhere else. You should keep up the fantastic work. May I have a mac and cheese jingle, an OMG amazing, and a general purpose karma.
Living the mac and cheese life.
Mac and Cheese by Ayn Rand.
Oh my God, that is amazing! You've got karma.
There you go. Thank you very much,
and
sir.
Yes?
No, I said thank you very much, sir. You will be a sir today.
And we do have a number of people that came in with the 314-15, but not Adam Kiernan. He came in with 315.44, so he could put himself at the top of the list.
I see what he did there.
Yes, I see what he did. And he says, "Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war." I don't know what this means.
This is for the Ides of March.
Oh, it's the Ides of March.
It's the Ides of March today. Cry havoc.
Jingles. He wants jingles. He wants Raven. Mm-hmm. You will obey karma. Straight from Reseda, here she is, Raven. Give it up.
And I don't know what happened to You Will Obey. I'm sorry. Let's try this one.
You will obey. You will obey. You will obey.
You've got karma.
There we go. Sorry.
All right. Now, this is an interesting donation that we have to discuss. Actually, yes. I might want to move it to the end of this list.
I have a jingle for this.
Sir Thomas Nussbaum. You have a Nussbaum?
Apparently, I have a jingle for this. Yes. Yes, I do.
Nussbaum's, who's been around forever and is a good friend of the show, is 314-15. These are all 314-15s from Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Should we play the jingle Sight Unheard?
He says everyone should get a John Fletcher ringtone.
Mm-hmm.
Nussbaum, and he wants a Nussbaum. Do you have a Nussbaum from?
So I have two things. So I knew this. They've been working together somehow, and this is what I received on the previous show.
Nussbaum. What was that?
Nussbaum. That's John Fletcher.
Nussbaum.
But today I received this. I have not heard it yet.
Nussbaum.
Okay.
Okay, now here's what this is another listener, producer inspired idea.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if Fletcher wants to do this, but I think this would probably be, we do a pie donation in the future. We'll have to talk this over a little bit before we...
Okay.
We have to talk this over before we do this.
Okay. Are we talking it over now? Is this the meeting?
No, we have to talk with Fletcher.
Oh,
which is if you give a certain donation...
excuse me, yeah.
In a following show, or maybe once every couple of weeks or something, Fletcher does all of these names: Nussbaum, Dvorak, Curry, Kiernan, Brusso, whatever, just a bunch of them in this screaming voice, which he does better than anyone in the world. And it's a gold mine, this guy.
Yeah.
If he wants to do that,
hey, we got to protect our assets.
We can give him a knighthood just for that.
Yeah. So for every single show, he wants to do that every single show?
No, I said like every couple of weeks we do accumulate the people who subscribe to a Fletcher call out for their ringtone.
Then we have a Fletcher Fest.
Then we have a Fletcher Fest, exactly. That's what we'd call it.
We call it Fletcher Fest.
Yes. Of him doing it with a pause between each one, and the guys could record the show and take them out and making their ringtones.
And I could put them in the show notes too.
And they could be in the show notes. You can just download them. That's even probably a better idea.
Yeah.
And that would be a donation level of $314.15 permanently.
A Fletcher Fest donation.
Yeah, Fletcher Fest.
I'm liking it.
I'm liking it because Fletcher's voice.
It is.
I wouldn't mind having the Dvorak ringtone. I might think Dvorak. Kind of yelling at me.
Do you ever listen to the show?
Yeah, I know you have it. Play it.
Now I got to find it.
Yeah. Now you make the little.
I know. I know. I'm a snide douche.
And then you fall on your face.
That's right.
Dvorak.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Huh?
See, that's a great ringtone.
That's hot.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to discuss.
Good. I think it's a grand idea.
Well, it's up to Fletcher.
That's true.
When I hear him do this, I think to myself, my God, that poor man has just blown out his voice.
John Fletcher says, Adam C. 1999, I'm down for doing that. Oh, he's DTF. He's down to Fletcher.
I was lucky enough to be old enough during the era when Janis Joplin was floating around, and I got to see her.
Did you have sex with her? Because everybody else did, apparently.
Apparently, I was the only one who did. Whatever the case. When you watched her sing, the thing that was interesting about you, because people always talk about this, she put so much into each song, you thought she was literally going to drop dead on the stage.
Her head was going to explode.
At that point, then she'd do it again. And again and again. That's the way I feel that Fletcher is the Janis Joplin of vocalists. Or whatever you call people who yell at someone's name.
I understand you're trying to be complimentary, but today's kids don't associate Janis Joplin with fantastic voice. They associate it with, drug overdose. Dead, at 33, 32, 27, whatever.
That way.
Yeah.
And it was never recorded. It was like the Grateful Dead. You couldn't record them properly because they were mostly playing around with standing waves in the audience. And if you didn't hear the performance, you never get the standing wave.
Explain standing waves.
Standing wave is where you have a bunch of... it's hard to explain, but it's a waveform that can create itself in the middle of open air, and it is if you had these little. The best example I've ever seen of visualizing a standing wave is Bose used to have these speaker shops around the country, and inside the speaker shop they had a long tube that was filled with these little, like polyester foam balls, these little bitty things. And then they would have their speaker pumping noise into it. And the balls would bounce around, showing the notes that were coming out of the speaker. And they had a knob, and you could create a standing wave in the...
And they make the balls bounce?
In the tube. No, the standing wave makes the balls go straight up in the air and form a big, like a line.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. I've seen people do this with a tube with propane. I think Rhino the Bearded did this. You pump propane and it has holes in it, and then it starts to dance along with the music.
Right, and then you can get it to stand at some point.
Right.
And the standing waves, when they're in an audience and they wash over you, or even you maybe get stuck in one, is the weirdest feeling you'll ever have in your life.
Well, so they should be creating dance clubs with this, so you have a special spot, the standing wave spot. In fact, the club will be called the Standing Wave.
Well, you could do it. The wave will move around. It's pretty hard to control that much in a big open space, but you can create it and then make it wander around. And as it wanders around, it hits you, and you go, I
don't. If that's the effect, let's not open the club. If that's all, I don't want that club.
It's a crazy thing when you have it hit you. And so the Grateful Dead really made money off of this. That's why people, I think, followed them around.
So the Dead created standing waves?
Oh, yeah. They were there were two bands that used to be in the 60s and 70s that banked on standing waves.
But they would do that by with a knob that they could twist the angle of the speakers?
The band itself at the beginning, this was created by, I'm off the track here. But
it's interesting.
Owsley, the drug maker, was also an audio engineer, and he largely created the idea of the standing wave in the audience, but he never made it so it was like so powerful that until Bob Heil actually became the
Well, that's interesting because my experience with standing wave is SWR, which stands for reflected standing waves, which means your antenna's impedance is not matched to your transmitter, and then the power you send out through your antenna is reflected back, and if it's above 1-to-3 ratio, you're getting in the territory where it can blow up your final power amplifier. Yeah. So that's why Heil, who was a big ham guy, would have even thought to come up with this in his audio products.
Well, Bob was the guy who invented. I'm doing an interview with him next Tuesday, and I'll.
Oh, cool! We post that on the stream.
As part of the No Agenda interviews.
Excellent.
But Bob was the guy who largely is responsible. I'm going to ask him this too. For blowing out the eardrums of most of the American public. He's the one who came up with the giant amps idea and made it so you could actually hear things, because before he came along, they couldn't do it right. And so there was there wasn't super loud bands until Bob and the late 60s developed. Yeah, he's the guy responsible for the Blue Cheer, Cream.
Oh, well, Bob Heil he's like God.
Bob Heil is God. A lot of people don't realize it.
Wow. I didn't know that. That is, I have learned something. Usually you don't teach me much, but.
And then he, became a microphone guy.
Yeah.
But he still does. He can still do concerts. He's a concert guy, sound guy.
Well, that'll teach everybody.
I believe it was Owsley who came up with the idea of the standing wave as part of the performance. And I've talked to every sound engineer. Every time I run into someone that worked in the sound side of the Grateful Dead and asked them about this, I said, "You guys created standing waves on purpose?" And the guys always say yes.
Huh. So how long have you been a Deadhead?
I've never liked the Dead.
All right. That'll teach everyone for skipping the donation segment. See? They didn't learn about standing wave.
Yes, exactly.
Good work.
Okay, onward.
I like that.
Now we have the Fletcher thing straightened out. Willie Thunesen.
Hold on, let me see.
It's Dutch.
Yeah, Teunissen. From Graven. From Graven. Graven.
Graven.
Oh, fine.
Thanks for your splendid analysis bi-weekly, he writes. Karma for everyone, especially for Mr. Oil.
Aw. Oh, that's very beautiful. Yeah, karma for Mr. Oil, of course.
You've got karma.
Eduardo Martinez in San Jose, California, 31415. Get on with the show. Unlove something, because there's a bunch of characters here.
It says a la mañana, which is para mañana. There you go.
Mañana. Mm-hmm. Russell Williamson in Grants Pass, Oregon, 31450. No longer a boner. Keep up the great work, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
Barry Coggins in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Pardon me, bon. Is that the cat that she ate on your shoe? What?
Just a quick note to all No Agenda listeners. I can't afford this. So far, 2015 has been a horrible year on many fronts, but I feel the value for value model warranted another contribution.
Wow.
Can I get a jobs karma and a reinforced dose of general karma for everyone who needs it right now?
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Thank you very much, sir.
And?
Yes.
And?
Pills Markers!
Oh.
Nice, huh?
Stephen Pelsmakers in Belgium, 314.15.
Grand Duke of Belgium and France.
And there's only 2 Grand Dukes, I might add.
This is true, along with David Foley, Grand Duke of the United States of America.
Grand Duke of the United States.
That's
And
right.
we got France, and there's other places.
What does he say?
ITM on behalf of Pi Day to the BPITU and its incredible co-hosts, John and Adam. May you have a bigger slice of pie, gentlemen, and never end up with pie on your faces. So go forth, propagate the formula, and have your pie and eat it too.
I had pie on my face for 20 years. What?
LGY, karma to all the dames and knights out there.
Yay!
You've got karma.
All right. Harvey Lee in Federal Way, Washington, 314.15. ITM, thanks for the hours and hours of media deconstruction and comic bits. This donation earns me a second knighthood, but I won't claim a barony until Eric has all the accounting squared away.
Uh-oh.
For now, I'll just ask for some hookup karma for Adam so he can get rid of his iPhone.
It's not the only reason I have it. But I'm all in. I'm not worried. Just encrypt the stuff that you need to, and everything else will be fine.
You've got karma.
You like the iPhone 6, I take it?
I do. I have to say, I do like it. It's finally one that's functional. Size, processor speed, battery seems to be pretty deep. You have to, configure stuff. Don't have everything. I don't have all this stuff checking in the background to alert me when there's an important post or someone has liked something I am following.
So I managed to move my email G Plus thing because they always want to send you you were mentioned. You were mentioned.
Your G Plus Google thing, yeah.
So it goes to the Google account, my Google email, which is Dvorak@google.com.
Not Gmail, probably.
Or is it Gmail? At gmail.com. It's Dvorak@gmail.com.
Gmail, yeah.
So they all go in there. And then now I can just erase them en masse. I don't look at anything,
that's handy,
by the way.
Right, yeah.
Anything, and if you want to send me an email and you send it to Dvorak@gmail.com, it will get erased. So I would recommend anyone with complaints, just send it there.
Makes sense to me, John.
Brian Gilbo in Oak Park, Michigan. $240. He'll be associate executive producer for show 704. Last name is pronounced Gilbo. Hello, John and Adam. After receiving a small windfall, I couldn't imagine a better use for it than completing my knighthood. Accounting is an email, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I have been listening since somewhere around episode 240, which is a good time to start. And I've had the pleasure of meeting both of you in person. Adam at the Cleveland Hot Pockets 2008 tour, and John in Detroit.
I recall.
I'm the guy John drove around with taking photos of abandoned buildings and Gothic churches. Yes, we went around to and went into some crazy old church in some part of town under one of the bridges, and we just kind of found our way in because it was locked. So we went through the back, and then we get through, and did we run into anybody? I don't know if we did. We might have, yeah. And then we just roamed around, took some very nice pictures. The guy's got some good gear. I have to up my game. Thanks for everything you do. I know there's already a Sir Old IT guy, and I'd like to be dubbed Sir Brian the Miserable IT guy, if you don't mind.
Sure. Sure. No problem.
What?
Look. What? What do you want? Have you tried to reboot it?
Did you? Is it plugged in?
Jeez, it's you again.
Sir James Case, Black Knights, Virginia Beach, $200. Thanks for keeping watch over the bullshit. Can I get a shout out to my sweet Lisa Lynn and a hot MILF boom shakalaka, please? Sir
That's
Black.
one hot MILF, baby.
Bingo, boom shakalaka.
Yay.
You've got karma.
There we go. That's how I intended
Thank
it.
all these great executive producers and associate executive producers for contributing to show 704. The production of 704 is all theirs. I want to remind people, go to Dvorak.org/NA. We have another show coming up on Thursday.
It's indeed. And there'll be...
Never ends.
That will be our last show from the Lowlands. And I'll be in Amsterdam in the coming few days. So I'll pick up some info and feedback and details from the people out there.
I thought you were going to go to London for a day or two.
I can't do it. It's just, I had already planned this a little bit tight, and then there's one or two extra things that pop up, and it was kind of good that I had the buffer, but I just can't go to London. I just don't have the time.
That's too bad.
When you visit, it's like if you don't see everybody, and they're all pissed off.
But just don't tell them you're there.
That's what I told Patricia. Don't tell anyone I'm here.
Oh, right. The next thing you know, you're on the front page of the Dirt Telegraph.
Exactly.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Thank you all very much for your support of the program, and remember to be out there propagating our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
I wanted to play this little thing that I caught on CNN, and it kind of pertains to our model. Of course, you heard our executive and associate executive producers who truly are financing the show, and we'll be thanking our other producers later on in the program. Now, of course, this is a model that works for us. It works on a limited scale, but it works, I think, it's the model of the future. Yeah, you'll be able to get by, and your community will support you. The days of being billionaires in media is over, except for the happy few. But there is going to be a lot of opportunity for people to get by. In mainstream media, they have moved towards this native advertising model. And we're seeing a lot of this now in newspapers. New York Times does it. All of the Murdoch publications. You name it.
I got a note from somebody that even that one of our producers, and I can't remember, it may be read later. He says that he can't get his wife to listen to the show, but he has gotten her to listen to reason about the scam of the regular media, including native advertising, where she says she can spot. Then it turns out that he has found, he believes, I cannot confirm this, but he believes that Danielle Steele, the novelist that's worth $1 billion, puts it in her books.
Oh, really?
Product placement.
I have his email here, by the way.
Why not?
Producer Eric. My wife is always suspicious of my no agenda leanings, but thanks to you guys.
This is the letter I'm talking about.
I've shown her how to pick out native advertising, even in the novel she's reading. It turns out Danielle Steele is a douchebag. Well, let's douchebag her. Douchebag. And I would have never known if it wasn't for you. I wish we had an example. I'd like to have the example of what her native advertising is.
I think it'd be hilarious.
So CNN, of course, we know.
Why not?
Yeah, makes total sense. CNN also has to make money, and this is just brazen. This is a commercial for a new for the military-industrial complex. It's a commercial about, and it's really to get the money flowing, but it's clearly been paid for. This chickie who I've never seen before is presenting this. It has, they keep cutting away to a second camera from her, talking from on profile, which is kind of like a little package trick. We don't have any money. You just read it again.
Stop.
Read it again from this angle. What?
Stop. So you have somebody looking at the camera, yakking at you, right?
Yeah.
And then they cut, and she's still looking at the same, but the camera's over the side. Now she looks like she's looking away.
Yeah, it gives it. Yeah,
she's talking to somebody, but there's nobody there.
Right.
Why is this a thing? It looks stupid. Then in the worst case scenarios, they turn that second image that we're talking about, bitching about, I'm bitching.
They inverse it. They're mirrored.
They put in the black and white.
Oh, yeah. The black and white. Grainy. Yeah, grainy black and white. No, so they didn't do that on this one.
Came up with this idea.
But the format is interesting. That's why I wanted to play this. This is a minute 30, which is, that's exactly what these things should be. I think that is going to be the new unit. Native ad, minute 30. You can buy a 20-second ad, you can buy a 15-second ad, you can buy a 30-second ad. Native ad, minute 30. It's a minute 30. And they end it with a journalistic trick, which the New York Times does all the time. I'm looking at you, tech section. But they do it in, of course, and it makes so much sense because technology news is also just public relations. So any newspaper, any news organization, all they're doing is just promoting Apple stuff. But there's a little thing at the end that I've seen in print, and now I'm hearing it on CNN, which I think is it's kind of like the closer for all native advertising. Have a listen. This is about some new stealth bomber that we need to get money for, and we'll have a listen.
A new U.S. stealth bomber is in the works, and the U.S. Air Force says it could be ready to see action by the mid-2020s.
Which this is a sales job for whoever's selling this thing, obviously. And we have big conferences all over.
I think this is the new bomber being jointly developed by Boeing and Lockheed.
Yeah, but they're taking orders. If it's going to be ready by 20, they're taking orders. They're taking orders.
It's called a long-range strike bomber, and U.S. officials are touting it as the next generation of U.S. air dominance.
Sounds like news to me, not like a commercial.
So what exactly does this stealth bomber do? Well, the project is classified, and the Pentagon is being very tight-lipped about its specific aircraft capabilities. What we do know, though, is that it will fly undetected, carry conventional and nuclear weapons, and be able to hit any target on the globe.
From anywhere, any target, hey! I have to have this new thing that the Americans are building. We have to buy this.
So why does the U.S. need a new bomber? Well, part of it is to replace the 50-year-old B-52 and B-1 systems, but also to ensure that the U.S. Air Force is ready to handle new threats as they appear around the world.
And by the way, when she's saying things like the B-52 system and she talks about platform, this is marketing. These are marketing words.
No journalist would ever say system.
Ever. Or it will be ready to see action. What is that?
Platform.
It'll be ready to see action. What, porn? Or what kind of action are we going to see? Yeah, that's marketing.
Not to mention, it could also act as a nuclear deterrent. Since 2011, the Pentagon has insisted that each plane could cost up to $550 million. But critics say that estimate is far too low. The Pentagon asked for $1.2 billion for...
So what we're doing here is we're telling you the base sticker price is $550 million. But if you want all the cool options,
you're getting a strip.
If you want this sucker, decked out,
you want motors, you want engines in it.
Do you want your nuclear deterrence? You want to be able to, shoot anybody from anywhere in the sky?
Steering wheel.
Yeah, you want any of that? Then I'm telling you, steering wheel, a steering column, maybe, John. steering wheel. Then if you're looking at 1.2 billion base, just so you know. All right, potentials?
Its LRSB program in 2016.
Also, that's a good one, Zippy. What price freedom, really, when you think about it? What price freedom?
Come 2020, that number is expected to rise to $3.7 billion.
You better start buying now, because once we hit 2020, stocks are it's going to cost more. We'll triple because a lot more. Get in line early.
Officials and some experts argue that investing in modernized capabilities will allow the Air Force to cut down on their operational costs.
Oh, it will cut down on your operational costs.
Money saver.
It's a money saver. It's beautiful. Now, we have to wrap this up. We have to have CNN has to be allowed to, seem like they're journalists. And this is what the New York Times does, and I'm sure you're aware of this trick.
In the future, the Pentagon is ready to invest billions in the long-range strike bomber system over the next several years. But whether or not it will solidify its dominance over the airspace or break the bank in the process remains to be seen.
So it remains to be seen. The New York Times ends every single technology review with whether this iWatch will be, the Apple Watch will be popular remains to be seen. This is what they always do.
By the way, I think I've always avoided. There's other ways of saying it, but you should avoid, any writer out there, you should always avoid that kind of wimpy ending. Do you have an opinion about what you?
Well, you can't have an opinion.
Glean any information that you can make some sort of conclusion other than, I don't know.
I think the point is
what you're saying.
You cannot have an opinion if you're doing a native ad, because that will always be construed to the right. The writer can always be blamed on, well, you screwed either way. Either the customer doesn't like it, or the audience can catch you on it. So just a wishy-washy.
This is a horrible piece. And that bomber. Why doesn't somebody? The questions. I was thinking about this. There's different kinds of interviewing and interviewing styles, because I was watching Larry King. He's got a certain style, and we harken back to the comment we made a long time ago about Howard Stern. who I always believe is one of the greatest interviewers in history, and he never gets credit for it. But he's a great interviewer.
I agree.
And I'm watching this show, and let's play a few clips from this woman. I'm watching Valley Girl, which is a paid-for thing that is Tim Draper, the venture capitalist's daughter.
Oh, wow. You really took one for the team.
I took one for the team and watched this.
Wow.
Well, let's start with, let's see, I got three. I should have 3 clips.
I see 3 clips, yes. I would presume the real girl would be the first one, possibly?
Yeah, let's try. Let's go. We'll start with the real girl. So these are short clips. I just want to give you a taste of the kind of lingo that we're going to have to listen to for a few more clips. But let's listen to the real girl.
You are on The Real. How's it going? The Real is so much fun. We just got news that we got picked up for our second season.
Congratulations!
I know.
Everyone needs to watch The Real.
I'm so excited.
Now,
hold on a second. Are you kidding me?
No.
I have the same clip.
Oh my God, that is amazing!
We had this. Okay, well, let's back up. That should have been the 3rd clip. So we'll play it again. It's so short.
I'm so
because
sorry.
I just want you to hear the scream. But let's go with the beginning of the show. We have this is the schmooshed. She's talking about. Most of the show, it seems to me, the show is a paid-for show. So they buy half an hour of time on local station. They put the daughter on, and she acts like a dingbat, and I'm the Valley Girl, and all the rest of it. And they bring in 2 or 3 companies,
which are Draper-funded companies,
are paying to be on the show.
Well, that must be Draper-funded companies. I would be surprised if they weren't.
Well, The Real is a show, and we've had it on the show. I always call 5 Skanks.
No, I understand, but the companies they bring on, I said.
I would hope so.
Yeah, that would be disappointing if they weren't.
But they bring a celebrity on once in a while, and this girl, it was the Asian-looking woman on The Real, came on. But she introduces her 2 or 3 times. And let's start with the first introduction, which is the schmooshed.
Fashion expert and all-around style guru Jeannie Mai is going to give us the lowdown on some fash tech. That's fashion and technology smushed.
Kill me! Fash tech. Well, that's the title if I ever heard it.
Fash tech.
I got some ash tech over here, but fash tech, I had never considered that.
Now we got Fash Tech, and then but she has another one she drumped up. And let's play this one. This is the Wearapist.
Jeannie Mai is not just a fashion expert. She's a wearapist.
Kill me. Just kill me now. It's over. It's over. Civilization is crumbling.
Yeah, that's a real word. I mean it. At least it is now. With years of experience in the fashion industry, you may recognize her from segments on NBC's The Today Show, Wendy Williams, E! News, or as a co-host of Fox's The Real. Jeannie's also known for her advocacy of female empowerment and has been outspoken in her goal to inspire and educate women, which I love. Basically, she's super wearapist. Get it? Like Superwoman, but she's a wearapist, so she's like super wearapist. Get it?
Oh, wow. Actually, I wasn't fast enough on the draw, but there you go. Super wearist, Wonder Woman.
Super wearapist.
Yeah, wearapist.
All right, so they bring Jeannie on, and this is this clip that we played first. We're going to play it again, and it's Jeannie who screams at this high pitch, which is like it broke a glass in the house.
You are on The Real. How's it going? The Real is so much fun. We just got news that we got picked up for our second season.
Congratulations!
I know.
Everyone needs to watch The Real.
I'm so excited.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You know, that is actually, I will say, in the world of technology, I think women are really advancing. Doing a good job. They should interview Sheryl Sandberg. She'd be perfect for this show.
She's been on the show.
Of course. I didn't say anything. For instance, boy, you have just turned back women 100 years with your idiotic, stupid screaming and your Valley Girls bull crap.
Anyway, I forgot where I was leading with this.
I liked it.
That screaming just shorts you out.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about native advertising. That's
yeah. The native advertising thing is. That's how you got. This is a version of it. They just bought this time, and then they put these people on. It's all a native.
And they have the nice little. Exactly. Exactly.
I'll think of it later. Whatever it was.
I'm sorry. Well, maybe I can jar your memory a bit. No, just put you in a different space altogether. Watermelon Head John F. Kerry, the man who will save the earth from global warming. Now, typically, I'm not really allowed to play any John F. Kerry clips because they're boring and just tedious. But once in a while, he has a gem, and if I tighten up a couple of the pauses, which I always have to do with him, then I think a beauty comes out, a total beauty. And whenever it's about climate change, our friend John F. Kerry writes his little statements himself. And I think that he's all in, and he must have a vested interest because he's really...
I still imagine that he imagines himself as the president.
He actually thinks he's president right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably feels the president is so no good that, I'll just do this. He doesn't know how to do a speech on climate change. In 2 minutes, I can nail this and make everybody understand it. It's very simple. It's just science. I know how to make these comparisons. Everybody else is dumb.
If you listen to some people in Washington or elsewhere, you'd think there's...
Like the president.
There's a question about whether climate change really is a problem or whether we really need to respond to it.
Oh, he's got a little laugh in his voice.
So stop for a minute and just think about the basics.
Yeah, because, can you believe these morons? Let's think about the basics.
When an apple falls from a tree, it will drop toward the ground.
Oh!
We know that because of the basic laws of physics. Science tells us that gravity exists.
Okay.
And no one disputes that. Science also tells us that when the water temperature drops below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns to ice. No one disputes that.
What do you think he's going to do, John? What could he possibly...
I have no idea.
So when science tells us that our climate is changing and human beings are largely causing that change, by what right do people stand up and just say, well, I dispute that?
Science! The science is in!
Or I deny that elementary truth.
I deny that elementary truth, I tell you. I deny.
It's an elementary truth?
Yes, it isn't. Climate change is an elementary truth. Not just a truth, but an elementary
computer model.
It is elementary truth. And kids, when your parents accuse you of stealing that cookie, you say, I did not eat that cookie. That is the elementary truth, Mom.
And yet there are those who do so.
Crazy.
Literally a couple of days ago, I read about some state officials who are actually trying to ban the use of the term climate change in public documents because they're not willing to face the facts.
That's Florida.
Future generations will judge our effort not just as a policy failure, but as a collective moral failure of historic consequence.
A collective moral failure of collective consequence. We're all going to
be dead, so nobody's going to be questioning anything.
And they will want to know how world leaders could possibly have been so blind, or so ignorant, or so ideological, or so dysfunctional, and frankly, so stubborn that we failed to act on knowledge that was confirmed by so many scientists,
so many studies,
over such a long period of time, documented by so much evidence. Last year was the warmest of all.
Woo!
And I think
lies. It was not the warmest of all. 1970, what was it? 97, 95?
97.
Yeah, 97. Yeah, lies.
So much evidence. Last year was the warmest of all.
He says it like Santa Claus, and Santa Claus was the warmest of all. Lies.
And I think if you stop and think about it, it seems that almost every next year becomes one of the hottest on record.
No, it's not true. 97.
No, there's more lies.
Lies.
And with added heat comes an altered environment.
Ooh.
It's not particularly complicated. I don't mean to sound
patronizing, douchebaggy, a-holy.
Haughty about it, but think about it for a minute.
Haughty? Think about it for a minute, yo.
He identified all his traits.
I tell you, you are haughty. That's exactly how you sound, my friend. By the way, the ClimateGate emails have been published in a handy little PDF. It's in the show notes under Agenda 21 if you want to download that and have a good laugh. It's nice. Just nice to read,
Yeah, nice to see the bullshit behind the scenes.
Yeah, it can be nice.
Hey, this number didn't come out right. What are we going to do?
Change it.
Use a different number.
Just change it.
Doesn't take much. You got a pencil?
Yeah, just change it. I got a lot of feedback on our conversation about Common Core from Thursday. Did you get a lot of feedback?
A little. I got that. I still am distressed by that guy on Twitter that tweeted two of us saying that there was the last show, which I thought was just one of our. It was a good show. I thought it was one of our better shows. It wasn't one of the greatest shows we've ever done.
Did someone complain?
Yeah, he says. You said something to him. You said "man overboard." This is the guy.
This sounded like the guy.
The last show was OTT, and it was all true. I knew it's true and real, and I can't take it anymore. I'm quitting the listening.
Yeah, man overboard.
Yeah, and you said "man overboard."
Yeah, we burned him out, man.
But how? It was a very light-hearted show. I mean, I think it was the hour and a half the Shaggy Dog story.
It's all my fault, of course. Well. What's interesting,
even the Shaggy Dog story was not over the top.
No,
it was
it wasn't. No.
You were pounding a nail and you were making sure it was it was in there. You weren't using a nail gun. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I like to pound it hard.
So you're pounding it and pounding it and pounding it as you are wont to do, and I guess it upset this guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. The fact is,
it couldn't have been the Common Core thing. He's not a student.
Well, So here's the most interesting.
I don't know. I was very upset. I was upset by people that go overboard.
Well, you know what? It's up to us to toss a life raft. That's the life ring. That's why I said man overboard, and he didn't come back, and I don't know what to do. He's not yelling help. If you're in the water, you're overboard. If you're not yelling for help, I can't do much.
Yeah,
well, he can come back.
He's swimming away from the boat.
He's adrift. Producer Ben P sent a response in. And he said he just started listening to the show and heard something on Thursday about Common Core that might shed more light on things. I work at a reseller as a sales and implementation engineer for networking and wireless and have spent most of my past several months trying to sell networks to schools because these PARCC tests, that's the Common Core, are requiring schools to massively upgrade the wireless and other infrastructure. And we're always looking for the hook on these things, obviously. To that this year, the FCC USAC changed the ERATE program, not sure what that is, that schools were previously using to help pay for internet and phone service and poor schools use for networks. At the start of the year, they committed $1 billion per year for the next 5 years to help schools upgrade. That's $5 billion that I'm not hearing anyone talk about. Each school essentially gets $150 per student times the number of students times the discount rate, which is based.
This is why they hate homeschoolers.
Yeah, because you're not forced into buying stuff. Because of the response, the FCC said this wasn't enough, so they're allocating an additional $1.7 billion this year and probably next year. All this money comes from the USF, the Universal Service Fund charge, which I think is what you pay on your cell phone bill. Based on the general market share, 60 to 65% of the $2.7 billion this year will go to Cisco. There you go. Google is also making out because lots of schools are buying Chromebooks for all the kids to use to take the test on because all students have to test with a certain time frame that basically mandates there's a testing device per student. Chromebooks are winning by a large margin, market share by a large margin because of the price point and ease of use versus, say, Windows or Apple, which also means that all these students have Google accounts to get hooked on the ecosystem and Google gets all the data for them. And I want to play your fifth clip from that Common Core conversation. The little girl is so fantastic. The marketing girl wonder.
Students will spend up to 11 hours taking the test over 9 days. Most will take them on computers, and everyone's expecting glitches.
They don't know what the computer thing's going to be like. A lot of them, there's like all these different problems like dragging and dropping, and a lot of students don't know how to do this kind of stuff on the computer.
I think the only people who benefit from this would be those who are selling the tests.
So Nurse Tracy sent me a note after hearing the show, and she said, oh, wow, because she looked at those third grade tests you were talking about, which, of course, are impossible for any human being to understand unless you are being specifically segregated from the herd. And that's what I'm hearing people say now. These tests are so ridiculous that the kids who do well on them, they're the winners. And this happens in the medical field all the time. Specifically designed tests under common standards that are intended to, separate the wheat from the chaff?
The wheat from the chaff.
The chaff? And I'm thinking there's something to it besides the money. I think it's chaff. Isn't it chaff?
Chaff. Continue.
Right.
You think what?
Well, so two things. Besides the money bonanza, it seems that these tests are, and it would make sense for guys like Bill Gates and all these elites who are funding this. Hey. That's Soros. Hey, we have to find the good kids and dump the rest.
Dump the rest, they're losers.
They are of no use to the new system of the grand game.
We got too many people in the world.
We have to listen to the Georgia Guidestones and go back to 500 million. And then,
I have my charter school clips if you want.
It fits right in.
Play chart. Now, this is on Democracy Now! And they have Juan Gonzalez, who was just kind of a stooge, but he wrote an interesting article in the Post, I think, or the Daily News, one of the two, because although he doesn't ever give us the insight that we're really looking for. There was a meeting of the, I'll make some comments after you play the first part of this clip.
An interesting symposium that was held at the Harvard Club yesterday, an all-day symposium titled Bonds and Blackboards, Investing in Charter Schools. And it was a meeting basically of hedge fund types sponsored by the Gates Foundation and by the Walton Foundation.
Walmart.
Of the Walmart family. Basically,
notice she doesn't say, oh, you mean the computer guy about Bill Gates. It's just accepted that he's a genius because he made money.
Enticing more investors to begin to see how they can make money off of charter schools. An all-day symposium was a small protest of parents outside, but it really has marked the enormous change that's occurred in New York politics and I think around the country, as a new report showed that hedge fund executives over the last decade have poured nearly $40 million into political contributions just in New York State. The prime beneficiary over the last few years has been Governor Cuomo, who's received almost $5 million. We're talking about Carl Icahn, the famous corporate raider. We're talking about Paul Singer, the Vulture Fund hedge fund guy. We're talking about Julian Robertson of the Tiger of Tiger Management, some of the richest people in New York City. And they're also, most of them, also major backers of charter schools.
How do they make money from charter schools?
Well, that's, I think a lot of it now is going to be coming in with the facilities financing that's going to occur. Governor Cuomo pressed the legislature, for instance, in New York State, to begin providing what will be the equivalent of about $2,600 per child to build new facilities for charter schools, forcing Mayor de Blasio in New York City to share some of this cost. So there's going to be a new revenue stream. In addition to direct funding from the state for per pupil education, there's now going to be a charter facilities fund that's been set up.
Oh, man, what a bonanza.
Well, here's the problem. Yeah, it sounds like it, but the original question to him was, how do you make money? These hedge funds make money. And he never really answers it because he never went to the meeting. I mean, he knew about, I'm thinking, seriously, if I'm in this spot and there's a meeting like this at the Harvard Club, and if there's any way in the world I can get into most things, if I'm dressed right, of course.
Yeah, you're not wearing the Speedos.
Just my normal attire. I wouldn't go and get into anything.
The Crocs. Speedos.
Speedos. So I'd go in and listen carefully because they probably are showing a model of financing and how you can get in. Here's what your money.
It's obvious these things make money.
Yeah. So there's a money-making aspect to it. But now if you listen to part two, it gets worse because, and this is the problem with Democracy Now! Their analysis is really piss poor. For one thing, he's almost making the comment that all this money is so Republicans can steal all this money, and they're trying to get Republicans in because that'll mean more charter schools, even though the target is Cuomo, a Democrat. The people that are funding this, the Gates Foundation, Democrats. It's all Democrat, up and down the line. But somehow these evil Republicans, which is, again, a thing that bothers me to no end, that these people can't.
Lies.
Lies.
Amen.
Here's where it falls. You can listen to him try to explain something, and it just is a mess. It's just a mess. There's no analysis. There's no concise look at this, and it's just too bad.
And of course, the governor wants to lift the cap on charter schools to allow many more charter schools to be started in New York. So the amount of money is not just in the direct contributions; it's also in money being given to new groups. The dark money that we've seen after Citizens United case, where folks like Robertson and Dan Loeb contributed as much as $1 million apiece last year to a new group funding ads promoting Republicans for Senate seats who are in New York State, which would assure, again, support for charter schools. So it's an enormous amount of money that's being poured into these political campaigns, specifically by hedge fund folks who are very close to charter schools. In fact, one charter network alone, the Success Academy, which I've reported on repeatedly, 19 members of the board of directors or their family members gave $600,000 to Governor Cuomo's campaigns for his last two election campaigns.
Oh, yeah, so there's real money there. There's real money. We should start the No Agenda Charter School for critical thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking.
That's the whole thing, critical thinking. You know, when the government says we're going to teach your kid critical thinking, you're probably going to wind up with a moron. You can't trust those guys.
They're forcing the computers on everyone. So this whole thing is about computers, selling newer computers, selling Surfaces. You know, this is not rocket science to see what's going on.
A friend of mine over here in the lowlands heard the show, and he's been investigating similar setup to Common Core here. So the same guy, Pearson, the same people are all involved, and it's everywhere. And it makes so much sense. It's what you do. You figure out who's smart. You do that by tracking them on the Chromebooks and the Google stuff, and then they have an identity in your world, and you can start exploiting that and seeing if they're any good. These are no good. We'll just set them on that path.
And catch them early.
Catch the good ones early.
Oh, exactly. We had intervention. We see this kid's a big dummy. This guy's so stupid he can't even use a computer. He's just a dummy.
They don't know how to drag and drop.
Yeah, I mean, we standardized the test so everybody can do them. So it's not that we're. Yeah. It's just not an excuse, for segregation, too.
We're sorry. We're sorry, Mrs. Johnson. Little Timmy's just not really keeping up with the group.
Yeah, he's an idiot. So he's going to go on the idiot track.
We're on idiot school.
The straight track to prison.
Yeah, well, that's the hedge that Bill Gates has made.
Put them to work where they only get paid 10 cents an hour.
But that's the hedge. John. That's why the Gates Foundation invests in the Correctional Corporation of America. It's a hedge for the kids that are no good.
Yeah, hedge funds.
Yeah. So we're all in on Common Core universities and selling notebooks and tablets and everything and software and cloud.
And then I think maybe the guy on Twitter may have been depressed by the notion, I think, that we put forth.
Now you're talking.
That you have this Common Core thing creating classes of people that are for the society of the future, which will have very little workers because everything's going to be done by robots and the service sector and all the rest of it.
Yes, on self-driving cars, hoverboards.
And let's face reality about driverless cars. This means truck drivers out there, all you truck drivers that are listening to the show on the long haul.
Yeah, you better start learning how to knit.
Unionizing in such a way that you can shut this down because you're out.
Yeah, we can't have that.
There's going to be automated trucks. There'd be,
I think that'll happen. That'll happen before any other passenger cars. That would make the most sense. Automated trucks.
Well, the way they're going to play this is going to be interesting because the passenger car, the automated trucks may be first because the passenger cars are going to have the bigger impact on society.
Of course,
they're going to screw everything up. Once those things get.
But see, no one will object to putting in, the infrastructure on the roads for the trucks.
And what we're going to have, first, there has to be a publicity campaign. So we're going to have a lot of truck accidents.
Oh, yes. And hookers. Killing hookers.
Killing, what, run them over?
Yeah, the truck drivers, having sex with a hooker and then killing him. You put it in the book.
That could be. I'll put it in the book.
Yeah.
Whatever the case is, truck drivers are going to be marginalized. Are going to be. I think I'm going to write an op-ed.
You should do this because I think you're. And we should post it on trucker blogs.
There's a couple of publications for truckers, but this is going to be a long campaign, and all these trucks are so dangerous.
Yeah.
And they're too dangerous to be on the road. And they're going to show pictures of, all they do is go down here to this freeway I can see, which is a Highway 80.
We can almost predict
5 trucks for every car.
We can almost predict the disaster that's going to be the tipping point. I mean, it's going to have to.
Oh, a mom and her family of young ones was crushed by a careless Mexican truck driver.
Who just hours before had killed a hooker.
These truck drivers are out of control. They must be stopped.
By the way, I want all of it because we have a lot of truck drivers listening. We're on your side. I am, at least. I don't know if John's all for this.
I am. The truck drivers are great, and they're the salt of the earth.
Yeah, and they're hams.
Screwed, and they better realize it fast.
They're not the salt of the earth. They're the backbone of the country.
They are, actually.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for
trucks, we'd be very hungry in Austin.
Bang.
Yeah.
No truck drivers, no salesmen, no nothing.
That's right. And sysadmins. That's it. Truck drivers, salesmen, and sysadmins. Not necessarily in that order.
Right. Those are the big 3. Anyway, so this is coming, and we brought up the whole thing, and then the prisons. Let's put everyone in prisons and then make them do jobs for 10 cents an hour because they're criminals. They can't be paid a minimum wage. Yeah. Let's do that and create the federal service.
Do you think we could have jihadi truck drivers? Would that help?
No, it'll help the movement away from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
From
would that be another prediction? Jihadist truck drivers
toward robot trucks? No, it wouldn't help at all.
What do you mean? Yes, of course.
A jihadi truck driver?
Yeah, then that'll be an incentive to get rid of truck drivers.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yes, that's what I said.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be back on the side of the truckers.
No. I'm just predicting what else could happen. We had the dead hookers. Truck
driver. This man was an actual truck driver. The union. He was a union truck driver. He drove this huge truck full of explosives into the White House. Thank God no one was hurt.
I think that. Yes, unionized truck driver. He was a member of his local truck union.
Yeah.
3 hours earlier, he had killed a hooker, a prostitute at a Denny's.
Yeah,
we got some native advertising. We could sell some native on this shit, man. Come on, it's good. Get Denny's in there.
Yeah, Denny's would be good. Denny's would be a good spot. Although the truckers usually go to these places we've never heard of that are giant parking lots.
Yeah, well, they're great.
They're actually going to need something.
Hey, first of all, amen.
By the way,
amen fist bump on that,
get some No Agenda discs and distribute them.
Yes. And amen fist bump on that. I think we're on to something.
Okay, so so this guy, I believe, was depressed from hearing these kinds, because what we've done is we revealed the obvious.
Yeah, just by reading, actually.
Yeah, the code thing, this common core.
Isn't no critical thinking even needed? It's just there.
It's pretty. Yeah, it is. You just have to pay attention.
Yeah, you just have to look at all that stuff.
Where 2 + 3 is approximately 4 in the Common Core.
I wanted to focus on Euroland for a minute, if you don't mind. Yanis Varoufakis, the Greek finance minister.
Stud.
Well, yes, he made a big boo-boo. But this shows this shows you what he's really all about. This guy. He's just another one of those egomaniacs.
We are in the process of legislating for tax arrears. We will legislate on minimum wages in good time after deliberation with the social partners, which is what we always promise to do. The press has a field day these days and concocting stories that have the purpose of creating noise. What we need now is peace and quiet in order to get down to work, to put Greece back on the path of recovery.
But you're at fault for that. Is Paris match a PR disaster in hindsight?
You will allow me not to comment on particular stories in the press.
but you put it in the press.
You will allow me not to comment on particular stories in the press.
You're a liability, though, for this government because you are trying to promote a serious...
Let me just explain what's happening here. He and his family did a whole pictorial with Paris Match, which is kind of like Society, and there he is in his office.
It's like OK and People.
Yeah, that's fair. There he is. He's lifting up his wife. They're drinking some wine together.
Yeah, it's all posed.
Yeah, it's him at home holding his book. What's his damn book? He's reading his own book. Dickhead. Rational Conflict.
Pretty good. I enjoy my writing.
Rational Conflict, which is actually it makes a lot of sense. I probably have to read this book, Rational Conflict. So his idea, actually I'll read from his little blurb here. Rational Conflict was my first single-authored book. Its origins lie in my PhD thesis, even though it shares not a single word with that document. The thesis was a typically dry microeconomic investigation of various parametric optimization models of industrial strike activity.
Yeah, sounds like bull crap.
But he's following his own. I think he believes that he's some kind of guru, and he's figured out this fantastic way of changing the world through rational conflict, where adults disagree and don't shoot each other or cause distress with economic sanctions. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It's just like all these other douchebags with this little pictorial. And then something that when we played the clip, I heard it in the back of my mind. It was tickling something. I couldn't quite figure it out. This was, and a couple of people mentioned this to us, so I wanted to just bring this up again. When Nigel Farage was complaining about the Juncker the Drunker wanting a European army, and he referenced the EU forces who were goose-stepping, as he called it, raising the EU flag. And then he said this.
The opportunity is being seized, and Mr. Juncker said we must convey to Russia that we are serious. Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Juncker? We do not want...
So obviously there's laughter from the UK, and I knew there was something there.
Because they got the joke.
They got the joke. And I grew up watching this in the Netherlands. It was actually on TV. I'll just play a little bit. This is Dad's Army.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Hitler, if you think we're on the run?
And so there you go. Comparing Juncker the Drunker to Hitler.
Yeah,
cool.
That's without doing it, without actually using the Hitler word, which is a violation.
The violation of
modern rules,
of internet rules. Yes. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was a good catch too by the audience.
Yeah, a number of people. Of course, the Brits all caught it, so that's very good.
All right. What else? Anything from Europe? Because otherwise,
well, the big thing here, and I think it's so obvious, is Jeremy Clarkson being suspended from Top Gear by the BBC. And, of course, there's a lot of coverage of this here.
And the story keeps changing. Now it's apparently punched out his producer for not getting him a steak.
Yeah, well, this is fake. And
I'm sure it is.
And the reason why is it's all PR. And why is it PR? Because this is the first year that Top Gear premiered simultaneously in 50 countries. They had this huge sale, and I think they added 20 or 22 new countries. And I have a feeling, I'd never heard of this. I didn't know that this had taken place. I didn't know that this was their big push. I have a feeling it's just a little, PR, and it's working quite well because it's like wildfire around the world. And now we're pulling these episodes. So, of course, it creates demand. And I predict that Clarkson will be reinstated any day now. But it really is just a PR job for all these new markets. That's in the news. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's airing on TV Thursday night. Oh, we should take a look at
all the hubbub's about.
What is the hubbub about? This guy must be really interesting.
Let's check it out. This guy must be something.
Yeah, exactly.
God, he punches out his producer.
Oh, yeah.
Got to eat meat. Oh, my God.
And,
of course,
must be very interesting. And there is no producer. No one has heard of the producer. Well, where is this guy or her?
Well, I've actually seen two pictures of them, both of a different person.
Exactly. There's my point.
There was one picture of him as an older guy and one picture of him as a young man. And it's like, wait a minute, which one of these two guys is this? whatever the case.
Yeah.
All right, I got the guess the movie.
Oh, hold on a second. It's been a while since we've done that. Here we go. Let me pot it up.
And now it's time for another episode of Guess That Movie.
Okay.
Now you can guess both the movie and you can guess the actor if you want to, but the clip is called Bad Acting.
Why can't you just love her? She's so easy to love.
You know nothing about my daughter. You hear me? Nothing.
I know that she is good and strong and deserves all the love this world has to give. Can't you see that? How wonderful, how special she is.
Is this Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with Keanu Reeves?
You know, when he said that, how special this is, this is the insincerity of a crappy actor. And Obama says special the same way that he does at the end of this clip.
But am I right?
Yes, Keanu Reeves.
I nailed it.
In Walk in the Clouds is the movie. You didn't get that.
Okay. Oh, I thought it was Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. I've never even heard this movie, Walk in the Clouds.
Yeah, Walk in the Clouds.
Oh, well, that's nice. Another episode, ladies and gentlemen, of Guess the Movie. Gee. Well, while you were clipping movies, I read all 400 pages of the FCC
I thought it was 330 pages.
The whole document they released was 400 pages.
Oh.
The whole doc.
I kept hearing 333.
Well, let me open.
But anyway, go on.
Well, I wanted to share just a couple.
Yes, I want to. Everybody, myself included, wants to hear a concise analysis of what you've read.
Well, it's pretty obvious. We know what it is. We know that this is about. It truly is when you dig into the bright line rules, which means they are explained in this document. And some of them are still open to interpretation. That really sets up not just censorship because of the lawful content, lawful network traffic, lawful devices. I mean, there's all this stuff. If it's not lawful, of course, there's no definition of lawful in here. But there's, lawful, unlawful can be jaywalking. That's the kind of stuff that you have to look at when you're, dealing with the language of the law. But
Hold on a second, Adam. I thought all bits were equal. I thought packets were all equal. What does lawful have to do with it?
Well, they're not equal because
all packets and all bits are equal.
Yeah.
What does lawful have to do? Lawful is something outside.
Well,
of this.
I'll make it even nuttier. The way these packets arrive and how they're arranged and what they contain, just the control portion of the packet can also be deemed unlawful. Then that Yes. Why, yes. I just want to read a few pieces that I've highlighted. You can find the document, of course, in the show notes, 704.noagendanotes.com. This is from the introduction. The lesson of this period. First, I would like to mention, hold on, let me just, the group Free Press, which is a lobbying group, who say they are dedicated to net neutrality, are mentioned 46 times in this document.
Somebody else pointed this out.
Now, it is important to understand that this group has received over $2 million from the Open Society Foundation. That's George Soros, favorite of the conspiracy-minded, and almost $4 million from the Ford Foundation. And the guy who's really the center of this is this guy, Robert McChesney, a communications professor at University of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois.
Right. Communist.
He is a communist. Thank you. A couple of notes here. So here's something that he said about news and subsidies. News is not a commercial product. It's a public good necessary for a self-governing society. Once we accept this, then we can talk about the kind of media policies and subsidies we want. So he advocates having news paid for by the government.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong? The unthinkable has become thinkable, and the free market internet, one of freedom's great triumphs, is set to be reduced to a public utility subject to pervasive economic regulation and, in turn, to content control. This, of course, is people who do not agree with the free press's message throughout this documentation, these rules. Here's another McChesney quote. Advertising is the voice of capital. All bad. It's bad. We need to do whatever we can to limit capitalist propaganda, regulate it, minimize it, and perhaps even eliminate it. The fight against hyper-commercialism becomes especially pronounced in the era of digital communications.
Somebody telling you to buy a Ford Fiesta is not propaganda.
Yeah. Well, that's what, just letting you know who's all over this document. Okay. The lesson of this period and the overwhelming consensus on the record, this is the 4 million people that, of course, were click farms or whatever who sent in a comment. Of course, from all these paid for policy
I find
groups.
it interesting that this 4 million. We've heard from 4 million. Meme is so overused
because it's fake. It can't. 4 million people. Can you know one person who sent in a comment? One?
No, and I don't imagine anyone could read through 4 million comments. It would take forever.
Yeah. So, and it's obvious, and that is a number that Free Press has been promoting. Anyway. The overwhelming consensus on the record is that carefully tailored rules to protect internet openness will allow investment and innovation to continue to flourish. Consistent with that experience and the record built in this proceeding, today we adopt carefully tailored rules, which is regulation, that would prevent specific practices we know are harmful to internet openness, such as blocking, throttling, and paid prioritization, as well as a strong standard of conduct designed to prevent the deployment of new practices that would harm internet openness. So much for experimentation.
Like what?
Well, I'll get to that. We also enhance our transparency rule to ensure that consumers are fully informed as to whether the services they purchase are delivering what they expect. Skip a bit here. Under this approach, consumers can continue to enjoy... Are you ready, consumer? I mean, you're not a human being or a citizen or someone who could actually be publishing something, pushing something upstream. No. In the introduction alone, the FCC considers you, John C. Dvorak, to have the C stand for consumer. John Consumer Dvorak. That I find abhorrent.
Yes.
Under this approach, consumers can continue to enjoy unfettered access to the internet over their fixed and, mobile broadband connections. This is where the lawsuits start. Innovators can continue to enjoy the benefits of a platform that affords them unprecedented access to hundreds of millions of consumers across the country and around the world, and network operators can continue to reap the benefits of their investments. This is not what the internet was intended for consumers. And the fact that your government, America, of Gitmo nations, considers you to be just a consumer and not a possible provider or someone with ideas or you want to share. No, you're a consumer. Morons. Informed by the views of nearly 4 million commenters, our staff led roundtables, numerous ex parte presentations. What is that, ex parte presentations?
It means something. I usually know what it means, but
is it off-site meetings or vacations?
It's something like that.
Look it up.
I'm looking it up.
All right. I'll continue. Numerous ex parte presentations, meetings with individual commissioners and staff, and more. Our decision today, once and for all, like we're the Three Musketeers, once and for all, puts into place strong, sustainable rules grounded in multiple sources of our legal authority to ensure that Americans reap the economic, social, and civic benefits of an open internet today and into the future.
Ex parte, the legal term meaning from, by, or for the party. An ex parte decision is one decided by a judge without requiring all the parties to the controversy to be present.
Oh, so they shill.
Little meetings. Backroom meetings.
Yeah, but without anyone who's there to disagree.
Sounds right.
All right. Here's point 8. Threats to internet openness remain today. The record reflects, and this is interesting. The record reflects, John, that broadband providers hold all the tools necessary to deceive consumers, degrade content, or disfavor the content they don't like. What overwhelming evidence is there to say the record reflects that? I mean, yeah, you could say the police can kill all citizens.
That's a very strange thing to say.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Because, in fact, you are the one who has said most often, what are we talking about? What have they done? All these things that they could do, yeah, they could do it. You even say this on Twit. This is one of your main Twit arguments, which is, shallow, of course, for the audience. Sorry. Shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. Do you have any... Okay, I guess you changed your mind. I just wondered if you were going to reiterate your position.
I got nothing. Here's my latest thing. I'm thinking that if you are going to force this equal access, equal this, you can't do this, you can't. The idea is, of course, you can't. It almost now forbids peering.
Well, shall I just read through this? A couple more pieces, which also includes the peering piece, and then we'll be done, and we can discuss.
Okay, then we'll talk.
So, strong rules that protect consumers from past and future tactics that threaten the open internet. Number one, clear, bright line rules. Again, because the record overwhelmingly supports adopting rules and demonstrates that 3 specific practices invariably harm, the open internet. Blocking. Hey. I'm sorry. It's late here. I haven't eaten properly. Blocking, throttling, and paid prioritization. This order bans each of them, applying the same rules to both fixed and mobile broadband internet access. This is a problem, technically speaking. So, no blocking. Consumers who subscribe to retail broadband internet access service must get what they have paid for, access to all lawful destinations on the internet. This is a new one. Lawful destinations on the internet.
I never heard that one. That's a new one.
So that actually reverses it and says if you're requesting this IP address to send packets to it, because let's face it, that's what the level that we have to look at. That can be blocked.
Pirate Bay.
Well, as an example. So you could be blocked by law at some level way outside of the ISP. Yeah. Anyway, this essential and all accepted principle has long been a tenet of commission policy, stretching back to its landmark decision in Carter Phone. And that this is how they're comparing access to law.
Bullshit what they're going to do right here.
I know, but you know what it is. I'll just read what Carter Phone is. Carter Phone protected a customer's right to connect the telephone to the monopoly telephone network. So they're equating a destination being unlawful with a device that was not sanctioned by the telephone company. I don't see how you can equate those two.
No, it's just to confuse the dummies who think this is great.
And they say to that, a person engaged in the provision of broadband internet access, insofar as such person is so engaged, shall not block lawful content, applications, services, or non-harmful devices subject to reasonable network management, which, of course, lets the ISPs off the hook because reasonable network management is an easy part, and we'll get to that with the peering. So applications can be deemed unlawful. Services can be deemed unlawful. Non-harmful devices. Okay, next, no throttling. The 2010 Open Internet Rule against blocking contained an ancillary prohibition against the degradation of lawful content, applications, services, and devices on the ground that such degradation would be tantamount to blocking. This order creates a separate rule to guard against degradation targeted at specific uses of a customer's broadband connection. Then here we go. The same thing about a broadband internet access provider shall not impair or degrade lawful internet traffic on the basis of internet content. Now we add content to the mix. So content, free speech itself, can be deemed unlawful. I do not know of any content, if I presume content to be understandable communication, how that could ever be deemed illegal under or unlawful under First Amendment of free speech.
Dealing with the First Amendment here, dealing with the internet that's now regulated.
There you go.
I mean, for example, you can find the network at $350,000 for showing a nipple for a microsecond on a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's free speech in any other context, but in a regulated environment,
it's not free speech.
It's against the law because we've decided that nipples are bad.
Yes. Bah. The ban on throttling is necessary to both fulfill the reasonable expectations of a customer who signs up for broadband service that promises access to all of the lawful internet. Wow!
They're using the word lawful too often. I mean, obviously, this is an end around. This is a play. And the
but did you just hear? But did you just hear what that said?
Yeah,
that customers, just like when you turn on CBS Super Bowl, should be able to. The promise should be fulfilled. The reasonable expectations of a customer who signs up for a broadband service that promises access to all of the lawful internet.
Yeah.
Then we have no paid prioritization. The person engaged in the provision of broadband, et cetera, shall not engage in paid prioritization. Paid prioritization refers to listen up, sysadmins, network admins, refers to the management of a broadband provider's network to directly or indirectly favor some traffic over other traffic, including through use of techniques such as traffic shaping, prioritization, resource reservation, or other forms of preferential traffic management, either A, in exchange for consideration, monetary or otherwise, from a third party, or B, to benefit an affiliated entity. So I think there's a lot of room in there.
Well, there's a lot of room to screw Google and Netflix.
For sure.
And they're going to get screwed because now here's people, you want my Google, I want my Netflix, I want my YouTube.
I want my Facebook.
I want my Facebook. They the way it goes now, if these rules ever get out of court, which is
unlikely,
but it's still worth talking about, is that now I say to someone or my lawyer that I've got I'm Vimeo and I've got lots of videos, but my videos are. I don't get my videos across as quickly as Google because Google has an appliance right in the ISP's office, sitting next to the CEO, is sitting right there. This is preferred treatment. This is
but if they took no monetary gain,
no. The word is consideration, and it's in there. You read it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me read it. I will read it exactly. A. In exchange for consideration, monetary or otherwise, from a third party, or B, to benefit an affiliated entity. So,
I give you a huge server with 100 terabytes or more, a petabyte of hard disks and everything else, and I say, here, this is free. Put it on the network and you'll be able to serve YouTube videos easier. Right. That is what's going on right now. In fact, violates that rule. It's a consideration for the benefit of.
How about if they just rent a rack and put their stuff in there?
If they rent a rack, they're paying money.
Yeah. So that's consideration. You can't just be a customer? So Google can't be a customer of the ISPs because that's consideration.
Exactly.
Whoa! Wow.
And neither can Netflix.
Wow.
So watch your.
That's
buffer.
Hardcore, man.
If I'm catch. Voodoo, that's the first thing I'm thinking of.
Wow.
I'd look at that rule and I'd be at my hands. It'd be, oh boy, we're going to be making some money now because that Netflix operation is going to have to pull those servers. They're everywhere.
Then there's this. No unreasonable interference or unreasonable disadvantage to consumers or edge providers. This is what Leo will be talking about today. Edge providers. And the key insight of the virtuous cycle is that broadband providers have both the incentive and the ability to act as gatekeepers standing between edge providers and consumers. No evidence of them really doing this, by the way. As gatekeeper services, they can extract unfair tolls. Jeez, enough with the analogies. Such conduct would, as the Commission concluded in 2010, reduce the rate of innovation at the edge and in turn the likely rate of improvements to network infrastructure. Now, so about this, they say, now here's what's interesting. They cite Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, please.
Gatekeeper power can be exercised through a variety of technical and economic means and without a catch-all standard. It would be that, as Benjamin Franklin said, a little neglect may breed great mischief. Thus, the order adopts the following standard. So they're quoting Benjamin Franklin to say, these guys are probably assholes. Because if you don't watch them, then they're going to go do great mischief.
Very insulting.
Yes. Any person engaged in the provision of broadband internet access, blah, 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 shall not...
This goes back to the what's his name guy that was part of the free press operation that you were quoting a minute ago. All those quotes. It goes back to the fact he's a communist.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And he and this is a very, I would say, government-centric, government-dominating hatred of capitalistic system as it exists.
Commies, man.
With everything that, everyone is, you can't trust him. If he's a CEO, he's obviously a criminal. He has criminal intent because that's the way the system works. That's the way capitalism is.
All criminals. Yeah. Bankers, ISPs, you got money, you're a criminal.
McChesney.
Unless you're Bill Gates or Warren Buffett.
He's okay because he gives money for vaccines.
And there you have it. Good night, everybody. It was fun doing the show. Okay, we're almost done with this. It's good for you. This is prep for you. Shall not unreasonably interfere with or unreasonably disadvantage the end user's ability to select, access, and use broadband internet access service or the lawful internet content, applications, services, or devices of their choice, or edge provider's ability to make lawful content, applications, services, or device available to end users. Reasonable network management shall not be considered a violation of this rule. So just a lot of lawful content in there. Then they have the transparency, which I marked it up, but I'm not going to read that. You can read through it yourself. There was something here. Yeah. Scope of the rules. The open internet rules above apply to both fixed and mobile broadband internet access services. Consistent to the 2010 order, today's order applies its rules to the consumer-facing service broadband networks that provide, which is known as BIAS, Broadband Internet Access Service. I've never heard the acronym before. But listen to what is considered a broadband access network provider. It's very specific. A mass market retail service by wire or radio that provides the capability to transmit data and to receive data from all other substantially all internet endpoints, including any capabilities that are incidental to and enable the operation of the communication service, but excluding dial-up internet access service. This term also encompasses any service that the Commission finds to be providing a functional equivalent of the service described in the previous sentence or that is used to evade the protection set forth in this part. Now, what I read in this is something that I think is overlooked, that the FCC, by definition, by their bright line rules, are providing two different types of service. One for complete free speech of applications, just a bonanza, and one that is highly regulated. If you want to listen to the No Agenda show, the way I read this piece, in the future, you will be using a dial-up connection. And that, by definition, dial-up does not adhere to all these lawful content rules.
Well, I'm going to have to read this through myself. Would you have it marked up?
Yeah, here's the interconnection piece, then I'll be done. Bias involves the exchange of traffic between a broadband internet access provider and connecting networks. The representation to retail customers that they will be able to reach all or substantially all internet endpoints necessarily includes the promise to make the interconnection arrangements necessary to allow that access. While we have more than a decade's worth of experience with last mile practices, we lack a similar depth of background in the internet traffic exchange context. Thus, we find that the best approach is to watch, learn, and act as required, but not intervene now, especially not with prescriptive rules. This order, for the first time, provides authority to consider claims involving interconnection, a process that is sure to bring greater understanding to the Commission. So, hello, CDNs. Hello, everybody. That regulation will be coming. They just have to watch and learn. And then there's some stuff about unlimited data plans, and you're not allowed to downgrade the speed. That'll also be forbidden.
Is there anything in there about caps?
Well, that's the one thing. That's okay. Recently, significant concern has arrived when mobile providers have attempted to justify certain practices as reasonable network management practices, such as applying speed restrictions to customers using unlimited data plans in ways that effectively force them to switch to price plans with less generous data allowances. So that does deal indirectly with caps.
Seems to me that the way I would do this if I was one of the ISPs is I would just say, okay, we'll go along with all this, and now you got caps. Or you could also say, well, we're going to do this the same way, but and this is what I honestly believe will happen. We're going to meter your usage.
Well, it has to. Yeah.
Meter usage is the only way.
That's the only way you can do this properly, right?
Yeah, to do this right. And so everyone will end up, even though that's not what the intention was, they'll end up somehow paying more than ever before and be more restricted. This is bad. But again, I don't worry a bit about this because this is because we had the clip, the woman from the mobile industry. She says, we already are regulated. There's a congressional law that regulates us. We're regulated by Congress. Congress regulates our business. If the FCC steps in and tries to push us into the Title II bin, we are going to sue and sue them again.
Bomb them again. And so specifically they say, and this is what it will be about the definition of tailoring. So if you take your suit to the tailor, he will adjust it for size, but not necessarily, for the third leg you just grew. I'm talking about myself, obviously. So they say this is Title II tailored for the 21st century. So this is going to be, the argument is going to be about the definition of tailoring. As we saw earlier, it gets a little tough to compare someone connecting their own phone to the network with you can't connect to that destination or that IP address. But okay. You can find that in the show notes. Okay.
Now, the follow-up clip was another one lost clip from the Valley Girl. Fits right in.
You have a Valley Girl clip?
Crowdfunding time.
Oh, this is your genius, John.
Now I really want to watch Cool Runnings. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's crowdfunding time.
That should be. Hold on a second. We need to do this properly. This is great. I need to put something in front of it. Hold on a second. Let's do a whole sequence, brand new sequence, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's try this. See if this works.
ISIS uses social media like a job fair.
We are killing them. We're very good at that.
Troubled souls come to the caliphate.
Now I really want to watch Cool Runnings. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's crowdfunding time.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
Crowdfunding time for us. Very good segue. We should use.
Yes.
Well, so keep it.
Well planned.
We do have a few people to thank for show 704, including Joe Campagna in Ontario, California, 12345. He needs a de-douching.
Yeah.
And we'll give you some karma at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
You've been de-douched.
Sir Blake, the Knight of Procrastination, $101.01 out of Los Angeles, California. Sir Blake. He says, what does he say? Thanks for keeping the watch over the bullshit. And he went, whoops, I'm sorry. This got Sir Blake. I'm reading Sir James Cates. Sir Blake says,
he's Knight of Procrastination.
Well overdue. I've been unemployed since October, but I can still put up $101.01 for you guys because you need it.
Thank you.
Some job karma at the end.
At the end, for sure.
Graham Scott in Australand, Western Australia, $99.99. Nearly drove off the road on some recent shows. Too much comedy can be bad for the health. Shout out for his 3-year-old.
Yeah, we got him on the list.
Yovan. And we got a birthday that's coming up. Kevin McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina, 73.
Yeah, didn't have it ready. Yep.
Borislav Marinov in Trabuco Canyon, California.
Sir
Borislav in 7040.
Yay.
We got karma for him coming up. Stephen Pelsma. Oops.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. I was just still getting it. I saw it on the list
And
right
in
there.
the red corner, wearing the black trunks with gold trim. He has a record of 33 wins, 0 losses, and 1 draw. He is the Grand Duke of Belgium and France, Sir Steven von Pelsmacher.
He wants a small helping of Swaziland karma, 69.69 because today's also Steak and BJ Day.
Is that today or was that yesterday?
Hey.
Yeah.
Give him a karma. He's the Grand Duke.
You've got karma.
Chris Gray in Grand Blanc, Michigan, 69.69. James Wolfe in Los Angeles, California, double nickels on the dime. Brian Matthews in Balbriggan, Dublin, Ireland, 50. These are all 50s. There's not a really long list here today. Eric Dutro in Flint, Michigan. Patrick Thomas in Petworth, West Sussex. Chris Lewinsky, Sir Chris, I believe, in Sherwood Park, Alberta, Canada. Brandon Savoy, Canada, somewhere, I believe.
Savoy.
Parts unknown, Savoy. Sir Mike Westerfield, parts unknown. Patricia Worthington in Miami, Florida. Anonymous in Milton, Ontario. Something about, Sir Alan Bean over here in Oaktown, California. And finally, Dame Melody Mann in Ringo, Louisiana, and Sir Mark Tanner in Whittier, California. That's our group of people who helped us out above the $50 donation level for show 704. I want to remind people we do have a show coming up with no gimmicks or anything to keep our head above water on Thursday. So we're hoping for just pure help.
Yeah, I do want to say, just for the value for value concept of what we do, different people attach different types of value to what they get from the show, and they can use it in different ways. I think most people enjoy being able to laugh. I think that's our pure genius. We're a comedy show in disguise. Shh, don't tell anybody at the Podcast Awards. And besides that, we help make you feel better because of seeing things in a lighter way, in a different way, and probably one that makes more sense to people who have their head on straight. So one of who is this Barbara? She has a chat room name. I cruised by the No Agenda Facebook page, and what caught my eye was this headline: "No Agenda will get you laid." And I thought, maybe I should have a look at this. Let's see what's going on. So here's the story. I think it's Citizen X. Yeah, Citizen X. A chemist that works for so this is what her posts on Facebook. A chemist that works for the state tests for radioactivity. I might have had him at dosimeter by asking if he wore one. Of course. And I could talk to him about Fukushima productively. And when we started talking about the banks failing, I could whip out Sarbanes-Oxley and how that changed the banking game. I wish I could recall all of the knowledge derived from No Agenda that kept our 104-minute conversation interesting, but it just did. I realize it now. Thank you, No Agenda. I landed a Sunday brunch with a 6'4" human way out of my education league. That's fabulous. Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
So did she get laid, I guess?
Well, we'll get an update. I haven't checked the Facebook page. Sorry. I was, I don't know, studying maps and stuff. Okay. Please help us out for our No Gimmick Thursday show coming up. We definitely need all the support we can get.
Dvorak.org/NA.
We say happy birthday to Danny Spell, celebrating 51 years today. John Pease says happy birthday to his nephew Connor, turning 15 today. And Graham Scott says happy birthday to his son Jovan, who turned 3 on February 14th, and he's happy to see him again. Happy birthday from all your buddies here, the staff and management, and all the interns at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. Now, Eric was saying something about the rings, just for those of you who are waiting for sometime mid-March, which would be around now. Oh, by the way, Citizen X's date is this morning.
Oh.
It's kind
of a morning date.
Well, it's a brunch date. Mimosas. Still waiting on the rings, Eric says. Harassing for tracking. He's got all kinds of problems.
Yeah, dealing with China's hard.
No kidding. All right. Then we have some title changes today. Baron Thomas Nussbaum, as we discussed earlier, is now an Earl. Did we actually discuss him being an Earl?
No, we didn't. But he is.
He sure is. Wait, didn't he want...
All we talked about was the Fletcher idea.
He didn't have a particular protectorate or something? I'm just checking myself.
It might be in his email. He may have... You do this... Well, I'll look it up.
Yeah, if you could just do that. Yeah, since you do that. Kevin Brosseau will become Sir... hold on, I'm going to put him over for the knighting. I need to say Sir Harvey Lee becomes a baronet. There we go. Then we have Kevin Brosseau becomes Sir K-Town, Lord of the Late Night Lab. And Brian Gilbalt becomes Sir Brian the Miserable IT Guy. So I will take out the sword. This is also discussed in the Facebook group, by the way, John. I think it was a Facebook. Well, if we use real swords.
Of course.
Hello. Come on, Kevin Brosseau, Brian Gilbalt. Step up to the podium. Both of you have supported the best podcast in the universe. The amount of $1,000 or more could not be more proud to induct both of you into the round table of the knights and the dames. And I hereby pronounce the Sir K-Town, Lord of the Late Night Lab, and Sir Brian, the Miserable IT Guy. For you, gentlemen, I have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys and Chardonnay, Sake and Sushi, Root Beer and Pepperoni Pizza, Malted Barley and Hops, Hookers and Molly, Root Beer and Legos, Whiskey and Wet Wipes, Maker's Mark and Mushrooms, Bong Hits and Bourbon, or maybe just some good old-fashioned stock mutton and mead. And please do go to noagendanation.com/rings so Eric, the shill, can have everything all set up for you. They're coming, along with the certificates and the sealing wax and all the good stuff. You going to say something?
No, I can't. There's no email from Nussbaum explaining his wanting to take his territory.
Okay. Let me see. Have some caliphate stuff here.
Well, I've got something if you got nothing.
Well, I have one. What was this? The drawing.
Okay, well, I'm watching the Today Show, and they got these people on, and there's the lean in is a big deal. They're trying to make it. Apparently Sandberg doesn't realize that, like with most writers,
she's still plugging this book.
Yes.
Oh, man.
With most writers, you get off the one book and you do another one and you get your sales bump up. But you can't, you're milking the same thing. And so there's a bunch of, now there's different movements, like a girl and all these other things stem from this. And then lean in, and do something. So I'm listening to this little forum that they had on the Today Show where they're discussing, what women can do because we need more women. The Germans have made it so 30% of the board director. And instead of actually giving women the incentive to go out there and apprentice themselves and work or take even more education, this is what comes out of the little discussion. This is the self-esteem. The clip is called Self-Esteem Moves. I know, but I have to read it.
Oh.
Self-esteem moves on to bluffing.
Recently, the very successful and very fearsome editor of Vogue, Anna Wintour, revealed her secrets to success. And among them, she says, pretend to know what you're doing, even if you don't.
Play the part. If it worked for Anna Wintour, maybe it can work for you. Essence Magazine editor-in-chief Vanessa DeLuca and career expert Nicole Williams join us now. Ladies, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Vanessa, let me start with you because this seems like kind of a dangerous proposition to pretend you're smart or to pretend you're something you're not when you walk into a room.
Well, there's nothing wrong with projecting confidence, with projecting an image that, you feel shows your strength, shows your authority. I mean, lots of people do it. Even, everybody can have an off day sometimes, and you still have to project as if everything is really just fine, So I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
Ma'am, the gauge is at critical. What should I do? I mean, this I think was on Good Morning America. And then I'm listening because this is the theme for the show because I think this is all done on Women's Day.
Of course,
the 23-hour special day.
Special day. And
I ended up with it comes up as you're listening, talking about amazing women. And for some reason, I got this amazing clip, which followed up everything. To me, it was just like, oh, please.
Okay, but so speaking of amazing women, Amy Robach. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be talking about some amazing shoes, guys. We want you to look at this fairy tale footwear right there.
Oh, my God, that is amazing.
Oh, man.
So we go on to some discussion about making women all a bunch of bullshit artist bluffers because that's the way you get by.
Yeah, hey.
And then you go right to the most cliched thing about women, shoes.
Yeah,
these guys are shameless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These morning shows.
Oh, it's
shameless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't care. Buy some, by the way. Buy it. You consumer. They're female consumers who buy shoes. That's all they are on the internet. I forgot to do the Jobs Karma and just any karma for the donation segment.
Oh, yeah. Jobs Karma for everybody.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Yeah, I don't want to, you don't mess with karma.
Don't mess with karma. Now so I'm downstairs this is a phenomenon I have in my house.
Oh, okay. Listen up, people.
It's a
Wake the
singular
neighbors.
house phenomenon. And so I hear and the volume you're going to hear this at is what I'm hearing. And play the Mockingbird clip. And this is what I'm hearing in my downstairs.
This is MK Ultra, man.
No, I am Mockingbird. So I have a Mockingbird. I've always had Mockingbirds in the area, and this, by the way, this is if you want to play a little more. Of that
Yeah, I
clip,
do.
You
I
don't
do.
have to.
Yeah, I do. I like it. You recorded this
A couple
yourself.
things about this bird. This bird has no talent. He should be ashamed of himself. But that's beside the. He's got no rhythm. He's got no song. He's just, doing his normal Mockingbird thing. He stinks. I've had plenty of Mockingbirds that can do a variety of noises that are just astonishing. This guy does have a car horn. You can play that. Car alarm.
What? This bird has a car alarm?
Oh, they all do.
Oh, there we go.
All the Mockingbirds get a couple of car
I was not aware.
Yeah.
And now this is a recording.
You can play in the background as I explain what
this is. This is a recording that you put on your trading website, right?
No, that's the birds of. That's a Holland thing. I'm going to post this, but I haven't yet. And what it is that this Mockingbird, or any Mockingbird, but this particular one, he likes to get on top of the chimney, and he uses the chimney itself as a resonance vehicle to make his voice go.
Have you considered shooting him with a BB gun?
No, I'm not shooting. You can't shoot Mockingbirds.
Okay.
They add a nice little thing to the. You can play it in the background.
I'm playing it in the background.
So he gets on top of the chimney and he starts, and it's way up there. So he makes a bunch of racket and he goes straight down the chimney into the house.
No.
Yes. At this volume, and you go, oh, the Mockingbird. And so you go down there.
So did you light a fire?
No. But I did take the recorder. I took the H2 and I stuck it in the firebox.
Yeah, chat room says standing wave Mockingbird.
So the Mockingbird. So it makes it so when you're in the house, it sounds like the Mockingbird is in the house.
Got it.
So it's actually quite amusing to me. Anyway, that's my Mockingbird story. But this guy's got no talent. He doesn't have he's got no rhythm. He's a really piss poor Mockingbird. We used to have one down when I lived in a different house that could do probably 1,000 different sounds, including a rainbird. And he sounded just like a rainbird, which is it's just that sprinkler that goes.
John, the show is going to the birds.
Yeah. Okay. Enough.
But you should do a nice compilation of different sounds. I like it when you have the car sounds and you do the lawn watering sound. You should do a compilation. We can play some different sounds, not just this whole long thing of him having no rhythm, no talent.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest.
I didn't expect you to play the whole thing.
Well, I didn't, for obvious reasons.
Although you could play in the background, who cares?
I will play us out with It's Time. Charlie Rose has Kevin Spacey on the show.
Oh.
And when I heard this little exchange, I realized that I have made an error in judgment and will now have to. I cannot wait to get back home. I need to rewatch the episodes I've already watched and then closely evaluate all new episodes until I've finished the whole thing of House of Cards season 3, which I do not like, but I now understand the reason why it sucks. Because this has Hillary Clinton's model of the world embedded into it. And I think that's not so crazy to think when you listen to this exchange.
Okay, let's just talk about your bromance with Bill Clinton.
Your bromance, by the way, John, just so you know. He has a bromance.
I heard that, yes, bromance.
We talk about that?
Well, we've known each other a long time. We've had a lot of different experiences over the years, both in his first and second terms.
I'll bet.
I did a great number of things for him, either at the White House or for the Democratic Party. I hosted a lot of events, did a lot of things, did a lot of things privately.
Yeah, I know the private thing you did.
Did a lot of things on the campaign. And I suppose that perhaps I never waited to see which way the wind was going to blow with respect to him. I was always there. And I was a true friend. And never doubted him, never stopped believing in him. Thought he's an extraordinary man.
And took him as he was.
Took him as he was.
Yeah.
And And I think that may be part of the reason why we became close.
And are you close to her as well?
I'm not as close to her. I just haven't spent as much time with her as I have with him. But whenever we're together, I always have a very nice time with both of them. I recently hosted an evening at the Clinton Presidential Library for their 10th anniversary of that library, but also of the start of the Clinton Foundation. And there was someone took a photograph of the three of us on stage, and I tweeted this thing that said 3 kinds of presidents: former, potential, and streaming. That was always good. Yeah.
Well, I do declare, Mr. Dvorak, it seems that we have a shill amongst us.
Well,
we have Kevin Spacey this propagating the formula.
I wonder how his tale coincides with George Stephanopoulos, who quit and called out Bill Clinton, who he worked for, as a sociopath of the worst kind. But
he's not invited to the house anymore.
No,
that's for sure.
All right.
I think I have to go back and look at it now and see what messages are being. But that's why it has to suck, because now they're trying to
they're using it for everyone says it's got lots of propagandistic messages.
Well, let's listen again to the Lear Foundation as we play it out. Their record on Hollywood.
So in the course of our work, this is in the 2 years, 11 to 13, 335 storylines that we worked on have been aired. We've worked with 35 networks in the past 4 years. 91 different television shows.
And that is what we're truly up against.
Yep. That's exactly what we're up against, and that's what we're up against. I don't know. I think
to the Batcave, John.
As long as we get support, we'll maintain our position of being up against that.
Yes. And just so when they talk about Giga Ohm on Twit today, you're on Twit today, right?
Yes, I am on Twit today.
Vox Media, those arrogant guys. They have, just so you know about how VC money goes, they have taken over $100 million in 7 rounds of venture capital money. The most recent being December 1st, 2014, $46.5 million. If it comes up, just ask if they have a model that works, or just keep pouring money into it. I'm curious to see what.
Yeah, it's like a yacht.
Yeah. If it flies, floats, or F's, rent it. And that's it from the Netherlands for this week. Thursday we'll be back. I am still here in the Souterrain in Rotterdam with the lovely Christina Curry. Thank you for your hospitality and your courage, dear. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, I'm John C. Dvorak.
And we will talk to you again on Thursday, right here on No Agenda.
ISIS uses social media like a job fair.
Troubled soul, come to the caliphate. Come to the caliphate.
Because we and our allies sent 600 tons of weapons into that civil war.
You have people, mosques being vandalized, kids being executed.
We'll be back one day to fight our own weapons.
They were known as normal teenagers.
They punish us for doing things that we take for granted.
Normal teenagers.
We are killing them, and we will continue killing ISIS terrorists that pose a threat to us. We're very good at that.
Jamila, is it funny or is it important?
Yet as we look around the world, we encounter upheaval and conflict and chaos.
And so you go in, and they're blasting you, and you go in, and then you can put the fire out because you're right on it, and you have to know which direction to blow.
Fuck yeah.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA